when I knew I never could. I need you to stay.
Right, Tony, it's been a blast. I'm with comms box.
Oh, I'll get a bit peace and quiet.
Yeah, Peony will be joining you soon. Then.
Woo!
No, I'll be fucking off.
See you in a bit.
In a bit.
Need you to stay. Need you to stay. Need you to stay. Excuse me.
Cheers, dude. Thank you very much. Just turn these lights off.
And turn me on.
Dirty bastard.
Is it raining?
Nah, it's not meant to rain tonight.
Fuck. Is it raining tomorrow?
No. It's
Fuck!
tomorrow.
Oh, I was hoping for rain. Fuck me, there's actually 30 cars in here.
There's 29.
It says 30 on here.
Yeah, I'm in the lobby as well, odds are.
God. Oh shit, I just came in as a driver.
You fucking peanut.
I was so used to putting that in.
Yeah,
They're all probably shat themselves going, what?
Mike, for some reason, didn't give that Lucas the red flag signal.
I need you to stay. Need you to stay. Hi. Now it says 29.
Yeah, why did it say 29 now?
Me? I told you that on that word. Wow, do me, Vano. Fucking champion. I think so and so should be in pro. Look at his pace. Oh my god.
Who said that?
Gee guys, I fucking told you. John put it in the chat, didn't he?
Oh, I don't know. What did it?
He sent a screenshot.
Oh, of Player Man, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Richie team should be pro this season, or allow Ian Gray and Flems to be back in pro. I mean, they're allowed back in pro.
Yeah, that's the best thing. They was both allowed back in Prime, but didn't sign up. So.
Any new drivers? Francesco.
Francesco is Gomez from last season.
Oh.
Naval Gomez. No, I don't think there is. Lando, no. What's the red order? Don't believe there is. Ball Lucas, who's obviously GT4 Lucas, who's now doing GT3.
Where is Robert Smith?
Which one?
Robert
Smith. Might be running late. That's the guy who's missing then. Might be running late because of this gust of wind that's blowing Florida's way, I do believe.
Oh, yeah.
Robert Smith. And who's the other one who's missing then? Yoshi. Yoshi's also not in. Robert Smith there.
So Yoshi once again has signed up, but he's not here yet.
Yeah.
GT4 and GT3.
Bearing in mind, on both nights he's confirmed and then declined, whereas tonight he has just kept as confirmed. I might message him and say, dude, do you want me to put you down as a reserve? And then get, one of the reserves that's turned up both weeks at the minute, if they can be, to be a full-timer. Well, I wait for you to keep you reckless. You ain't ever wanna see me again. And you know that I can't live without you. Just baby, stay. Oh. Another new driver in Pro tomorrow.
Painful. Oh God.
Who Darren, who won in the Alpine last night.
Fucking hell.
I think you've got about 4 newcomers starting behind you.
An overtaker.
Yeah, so you've got McGowan, Eccles, Ledger, Cosme, Giggle, and now Who Darren.
I wonder when overtakers races when he's not going to turn up. Because he says he misses 2.
Next week. Or 2 tracks it rains on. What's the forecast wet?
I don't see Clouding giving me any hard time this season.
Me and Daz were on about this earlier. We were saying that you just cannot see it. Cannot see it from.
I can't see the choice. I've driven that Mercedes. It's quick, eventually, but not quick enough.
Yeah, and I don't think he's at the moment good enough to make it quick enough straight away.
No, I think he's seen me go into something front engine, and he's thinking, "Oh, Dan's doing that. There must be a reason why."
Right, I'm going to go live in 5, 4. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to SimPlay Motorsport. Just want to kick things off with a bit of a stranger point tonight. There's a few of the FBR guys not driving in the black. That is because of the loss of driver Sully's father. So we wish the family all the best. And all our good thoughts with them, as well as we'd like to send all our wishes and hope that everybody is safe across the pond to Sky Schundelmeyer, and we believe the Jackal, who had to pull out of last night, and we believe tonight's race due to Hurricane Milton that is set to hit Florida any moment now. It's from what we've seen on the news, it's meant to be quite a severe hurricane, and we've heard that people have had to evacuate their homes in Florida. So Sky, Tracy, and the Jackal, please stay safe. We are missing Robert Smith, the championship leader, who has possibly had to do the same thing. We've actually lost another driver at the moment, but we are missing the championship leader, Robert Smith, who possibly has had to do the same thing. So if he has, and somehow you're able to be listening to this, please stay safe, stay well, and let us know as soon as it has passed that all is okay, because our thoughts are obviously with you at this moment as well. So yeah, just 2 things to touch on at the start of tonight. But either way, we'll move on from that. We're going to turn our attention then to this Misano circuit, which at that final corner there, I never noticed until we did our opening. It says San Marino on it. It's not a San Marino track. It's nowhere near San Marino. It's closer to Imola than it is San Marino. But this is our destination. It's a tricky little circuit. We come from Bathurst, which is all about not putting it in the walls, to here, which provides other challenges and tricks that drivers may or may not have up their sleeve. I'm joined in the commentary box, as always, by Dan Davis on a Wednesday night. Dan, good evening to yourself. Misano is a different circuit to what we've had last week, and really the first one where we could possibly see drivers at full pace.
Yeah, definitely so, and already we can see one car looking very, very mighty this evening, making me questioning my car choice this season. Obviously, reflecting back on what you said, please, all the people in Florida, just, be careful, be smart, be safe, and we are thinking of you here at SimPlay, especially Tibbs and Tracy and Robert Smith, who at the minute, we, like you said, still not here at this stage, and obviously all the FBR boys wearing the black livery, and I've raced Sully a handful of times, and he's a very, very quick boy, and it's sad to hear about his loss, but it's nice to see the FBR boys supporting their fellow driver and league runner. You say, what did you just say just now? Did you say it's closer to Imola than San Marino?
I believe so, yeah.
San Marino, Imola is San Marino.
No, it isn't.
Is it not? The San Marino Grand Prix, used to be called.
It always used to be called the San Marino Grand Prix. Growing up, me and you, with his 2 years between us, always used to be called the San Marino Grand Prix. It's now not called the San Marino Grand Prix. It's the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix, because it's not actually in San Marino. This has got San Marino painted on the floor. It's not actually in San Marino. I will find out where it it is in Emilia-Romagna. So it's in the same region as...
So is it basically just been renamed, surely?
I think so. I think it's more Bologna. Where San Marino is just sort of on the outskirts of Emilia-Romagna.
It must have been one, like, they must have had like some form of independence or something, surely.
Yeah,
but
either way, it's looks to me. In fact, if I do it on Google Maps, San Marino to Emilia-Romagna will take you half an hour to get to. So it's not far away, but it's at the same time.
So it's like Cornwall to Devon, isn't it? It's, it's not far.
It's like, say, Cornwall's Wales.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, not Cornwall to Wales. And actually, just funny enough, we talk about Cornwall. I was rewatching the pro stream the other night, and it's nice to see a lot of other Cornish drivers in the chat. Yeah. And I'll tell you what. Don't listen to Matthew. He doesn't understand what a proper pastry is. And one day we will educate him. He's still trying to figure out if he's English or Welsh, so we'll work on that. But I had to get your little dig.
I had a little dig. Yeah,
wow me up.
I mentioned Greg's last week as well, and I knew that one were in there for you, Dad.
Greg's?
I was waiting.
Of all the ones, like we still don't even have a Greg's in Cornwall.
I was waiting for you, Dad, to comment back.
It's that bad. It's that bad. We can't even accept it down here, But anyway, back to Italy and spaghetti and pizzas. Pineapple on a pizza? That's the other question that we used to bring up. But as you can see, Matthew, at the top of the table is my old faithful car, the Lamborghini. Richie Michel setting the pace, and that pace he set. I mean, I had to look back at a few Misano races we've done in the past just so I could get an idea. It's been a long time since I've raced here, and to get an idea of the pace. And the last qualifying lap I saw in the pro that was dry, it was Ripper on pole, and that's the lap time he'd done in the Audi.
Yeah, and what was it we saw him post in the Discord the other day? A 33.1, I think, is his outright best. Them conditions were a little better than what the Pro-Am boys have today, but still, that pace is phenomenal, to say the least, as well. So it's going to be an interesting night, isn't it? He's running front end of pro pace as well at the moment, so really is on the ball around here.
Definitely so. I mean, as most people know, I've been in the server a handful of times and getting my practice in, and I managed to get the jump on him at the start in a couple of practice sessions, but he did not leave my rear end. Was actually quite concerning at times. Luckily, the back straight helps the Lexus out massively. But other than that, that's scary lap time there from Richie Michel. But obviously, it could be just his one circuit where he's just very, very good. You just don't know.
From what I'm led to believe, from the conversations I've seen in and around the Discord this week, this is his and I believe brother, sister Mirko Ritchie's home circuit. So this to you is this to me and you is your Thruxton. It's my Donington Park, and you've seen me drive it. Yeah, but you see people drive at their home circuits. I've always gone well at Donington, no matter what car I've driven in. It's always gone well. That's kind of the feeling you get in here. One thing I've noticed with these two in practice this week a lot is they seem to take the occasional different line in or out of corners than other drivers. And that's that track knowledge, isn't it, that they're bringing to the table?
Oh, yeah, definitely. So, even sometimes when you hate those circuits, you tend to go quite well at them. If you've got the knowledge, you know how, sometimes knowing your home circuits are better off. Maybe they'll be quite quick at Monza. You just don't know. But nice to see they have got good pace here. Nice to see the Lamborghini back at the top again and giving the McLaren a hard time. Regarding the BOP, I reckon the Lamborghini should be relatively good round here, if I'm correct.
I'm just going to actually load that up now. I was just trying to wonder who's missing, and I believe it is John Andrews, who's not yet in the server. I'm trying to find the BOP file. BOP in use. Here we go. So the BOP that is actually being used, the Mercedes-AMG GT3, driven by Darren Bell, John Gooday, and that of Monkey Boy as well. Funnily enough, are all in the pits. That gains the most. That gains 29 kilograms of ballast. The BMW is then the next most with 19 kilograms, and it is the Lamborghini third highest on the BOP, 14 kilograms. So not a massive amount, but enough. The McLaren then with like Lando Norris, Brian Craig, Mark Tucker, Paul Williams, that gains 14 kilograms, and it's the Audi Evo 2 which we don't have, which gains 9. The McLaren gains 10. The Porsche 992 that we're seeing Gary Clarble and Playerman in, that gains 6 kilograms along with the Ford Mustang. Nobody in the Ford Mustang in Pro-Am. The Ferrari 296, there's a few of them out there as well on the circuit. Try and find one for you out there on the track. Rob, in fact, no, that is the wrong example because that's the 488. DJ
Just
Phil.
in winter.
Just in winter as well, sorry, but I was looking down the bottom end. DJ Phil, for example, he'll gain 4 kilograms. And then it's the old McLaren that loses 1. Trying to find, we don't have an Aston Martin. The Honda NSX Evo of Cranky Duckhead, he actually loses 15 kilograms. The Ferrari 488 Evo of Rob Smith, that loses 26 kilograms. So, already, and then there's, the Lexus is here, apologies, at the bottom. So, interesting, Bob, the fact that the Merc gets the most here by some 10 kilograms heavier than the BMW and 15 kilograms heavier than the Lamborghini. Based on what we saw in the Mercedes, you wouldn't have really said that, would you?
I'm assuming it's probably able to abuse the curves a lot better, and it's able to use its heavy weight to get around the circuit. So, I don't know. I've driven the Mercedes a handful of times, tested it thoroughly as well for this season. It is a bit of a, I would say, if anything, the Ferrari would probably suit this circuit the best. Yeah. Maybe the Porsche. But obviously the back straight hurts them. So
apologies, there is a Ford Mustang in. It's Dean. Forgot about Dean. And by the way, when we get to see Dean on the circuit, I think that's one of the nicest liveries this season is Dean's car. It is a beaut. I don't know. It's quite nice. So we are missing John Andrews, and at the minute again, no Robert Smith in as well at the moment. Ignore the fact Dan says he's a driver. He joined the lobby actually as the driver before coming into the spectator. So just John Andrews, Yoshi and Robert Smith that we are missing from this one at the moment. But yeah, it's going to be a fantastic grid. It's going to be a fantastic night's worth of racing no matter what happens here tonight. I'm looking forward to this one.
You say about nicest lyrics. I quite like the Dane Train duo. The white, red, and black actually look quite smart.
Yeah,
the two McLarens, they work well.
Nice. I do like the Mirko Ricci Lamborghini.
I actually quite like. I like
Clarble's
as
white
well.
and green Porsche. It's got a nice livery.
Old Sim Racer's Ferrari with the orange and yellow. Is nice.
As well as
again.
Rob Smith. There is a lot of black. Obviously, we'll let that off this week. I don't know. Just Dean's. I think it's the matte black car with then the green and red. It's pretty nice out there. Good evening to PM Motorsport in the chat. Tips is there as well. OC tipping from last night. Andrew there, NRL. Andy here. Good luck everyone tonight, he says. Good luck, says Eckholt. Great to see Eckholt back, by the way. He makes his return next week, tomorrow night from the back of the grid. Good luck to Gary, Old Sim Racer, and Gary Clarble says tips. Good luck to all the FBR boys, says PN. Being on comms 5 minutes and already on about food. Gotta be. Let's go, Team Dane Train, says Eckholt. Fury's granddad in there. Can't beat Ginsters. Proper Cornish pasty. Evening all, says Paul Williams. Evening to Peaceful Stepdad as well. Mike Matthews, Richie sandbagging. We've all seen his real pace. Sebastian Witchrup in the chat. Come on, Team Dane Train. A lot of support for the Dane Train tonight. Richard Beasley in there. Good luck, FBR. Skunky's also in there. Good luck, lads. Cheering on the old races this evening. And I assume that is the old races. I assume that is Team Tom, I believe they're called. Rob Smith and Old Sim Racer. And then RB as well. RIP the old man forever. RIP the old man FBR driver. That is Sully's dad, who we sadly lost it. No Robert Smith in at the moment. So in fact, actually
the wins have gone.
We're down to 27 drivers on the grid. So I believe we've actually lost another driver.
20 seconds.
And that appears to possibly be Lucas, because I can't see his red ping bar.
Maybe the Hurricane has worked its way to New Zealand.
10 seconds.
Let's see. Either way, let's see what happens tonight. Dan, if you had to pick a winner tonight, who are you going for?
You gotta look at Richie Michelle with that pace. I'm gonna go Shane for this one.
Ooh. Quite like that. I'm going to go Francisco to be a little different. I'm going to go Francisco.
Francisco? No, it's in Florida, not in Francisco.
Yeah, that's the place. That's the one.
I had a little bit of light humour to, not make things as sad as they are. So guys, while you're at it at the minute and you're watching the stream, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel as well. Hit the bell to be notified so you don't miss any of the action here at SimPlay Motorsport. And also while you're at it, head down into the description below and have a look at all our fantastic sponsors of Audio Sport and Design Manchester. And thanks to them, you're able to go over to Design Manchester and produce some vinyl graphics, laser engraved gifts and mugs and printed clothing, much more, including SimPlay merchandise, which I'm still waiting, Mike Matthews, to get mine. I mean, I've signed for the team and I'm still
can't
waiting
believe we haven't got any. It is...
I know.
Flabbergasted.
All the stuff we do for him as well. I mean, I've given him 2 titles. What more do you want? Audio Sport as well, manufacturers of VW Transporter, T4 audio solutions and styling products. Head over to www.audiosport.co.uk. And while you're at it as well, if you do want to be a part of the action here at SimPlay Motorsport, then head over to our Discord and our SimGrid and get involved. Obviously, we are starting to fill up relatively quickly. We do have some spaces still available in Pro, but you do need to make those hot stints to make it into that class. But we obviously always got space for GT4s if people aren't able to make it, or the weather's terrible, or you know you've got to go walk your cat. But you know there's always space available for you if you want to get involved. And
just quickly, go on. No, I've got the grid order to go through. Fancy new display today.
Well, that's I'm done there.
Right,
I'll shut up.
Let's take you through the grid order. Thanks to John Gooday. This is what he's been able to bring to you now. You're seeing it on your screen for the first time. It is the Pro-Am grid order, and as you can see, it should be Oshie on pole. He's not here. Dean Vigas is in second place. Then it is Francisco from Shane Bembridge in P3, P4. P5 and 6 is Mark Tucker from Rob Smith. P7 and 8 is Kane from John Andrews, who's not here, so he is not on the grid. The Saint, aka Sam, is P9 with Darren Bell in 10th. P11 and 12 will be Luke Saunders and DJ Phil. P13 and 14 will be that of Fat Bloke and Cranky Duckhead. P15 and 16 will be Brian Craig and Playerman, with P17 and 18 that of Andrew Taylor and John Gooday. P19 and 20 then will be Borough Becks and Paul Williams before 21st and 22nd Lando Norris and Gary Clarbel and Caspar Olin. That'll be because a few drivers have missed it. They've been bumped up. We are going to have to go back to live action because for the first time tonight it is green and go here, and it's a decent start from the front runner of Francisco, who's already taken away down the start line and in towards turn 1 he comes, and it is all pretty cleanly through. There's a few cars just making a little bit of contact down the pack. That is Cranky Duckhead getting involved in all sorts of kerfuffle and a domino effect as they all just tap the rear of a few cars. Now there's a BMW a little bit wide. That looks to me like it's Sam, who's just been put onto the marbles a little bit on the outside. Dean still holding the inside line strong from that of Kane. Shane Bembridge has made a decent start. He's in 4th place. Just taps the rear of Kane, and onto the grass goes Shane Bembridge. Hopefully he can rejoin in the safest of manners. Down the pack as well, though, Gary Clarbel as well is on the grass. This is on board then with that of Justin Winter, who's gone very wide in chaos. That is 3-4 cars off as Kieran Argent manages to rejoin, but already off, and dramas in towards the first hairpin, and on the first straight they go. We pick up now back with Kane, who's behind Dean Vigas. Then it is, so the running order after select one is Francisco from Mark Tucker, Darren Bell, Dean Vigas, Kane from Robert Smith. Shane Bembridge is no longer P7, so we're going to have to wait for that one. It is Luke Saunders, then it is Sam, then it's Fat Bloke from no longer Brian Craig, then it's John Gooday. Cranky Duckhead's also not there, so we're going to have to wait for them to come through sector 2 because the timing screen's on. Already changing as Rob Smith coming under pressure now from Luke Saunders, looking up the inside of a tricky section to overtake, manages to get on the brakes, makes the move stick. That's a great move, Luke Saunders, early on in this race.
Great move indeed, and already we got Sam and Fat Bloke already trying to send up the inside, normally in their McDonald's livery, but running the black livery tonight, and I'm definitely not loving this livery. But as they're running through the final few corners, they're both banging doors, the 2 FBR teammates, but into the final corner they go, and Fat Bloke sends it up the inside and orders himself a Big Mac as he goes through the final corner. Down towards turn number 1 they go, and John Gooday had a little bit of a mistake through there, and that's allowed Monkey Boy, the junior driver, to sneak through, and there is also Casper standing up the inside. A little bit of argy-bargy going on there, and Argent's still not involved in that fight, but they're working their way through sector 1, and somehow they all managed to still face the right way.
Yeah, Olin just went a little hot into turn 1 over the rumble strips. He went. Shane Bembridge now looking back up the inside of Stephen Beck. He's received a tap from that of the other Dane Train car of Dennis Hansen, who's gone off, rejoins just alongside the old sim racer. Lando Norris goes through as well. Where is Richie Michelle? Quickest in the practice. He's got a bit of front end damage on that splitter. Gets past that now of Dennis Hansen, moves up another position, but it is already Francisco in the BMW who's starting to pull away from Mark Tucker with Darren Bell fastest lap on the road. He got his first ever SimPlay podium in race 3 of GT4s last night. He's looking to go strong again. Dean Holding strong in P4 with Kane 5th, Luke Saunders 6th, Rob Smith 7th, then it's Fat Bloke and Sam. Monkey Boy P10, but he's got Casper Olin looking up the inside of him. This is on the helicopter shot coming down the back straight on Monkey Boy and that of Casper Olin in towards the first left-hander. Monkey Boy must have had a huge lift there because Casper's flew past, and now here comes Stephen Beck. They both wiggle and make contact. Monkey Boy is massively off, and it's Sam who goes through, and Monkey Boy onto the grass, and that is damage to him, and that could possibly be the end of his first race. That is not the way to want to start.
It's not indeed. Meanwhile, Francisco is just pulling away from Mark, and Darren Bell holding it strong in 3rd. Dean still in 4th. Kane still in that solid 5th place position, but he's got Luke breathing down his neck now, and the BMW's looking quite strong here at the minute, being able to ride the curbs a little bit better. And right now as well, Rob Smith is still trying to hang on against the other FBR driver, but Luke Saunders there made a little bit of a mistake, but he's on the attack on Kane and Dean. He's looking to the inside of turn 4, and Fablo makes contact to the Ferrari, and Kane literally spins right in front of Luke. A really awkward spin there for him, and he gets dropped down the order, all thanks to the contact from Fat Bloke, who's just carried on through while all that chaos has been going on.
Yeah, I believe Kane's tried to spin the car around and has clipped the back of Esteban Borrebeck, Stephen Beck. He's now off the track waiting, but it is Francisco from Mark Tucker. Darren Bell no longer the fastest lap. That's gone the way of Mirko Ritchie then, so the other Ritchie driver to get the fastest lap, but doing a good job at the moment. Fat Bloke trying to gain on the back of Rob Smith now with Casper Olin there. Luke Saunders down to 8th after having to wait and be patient. Then it is Justin Winter ahead of Sam. Shane Bembridge back up to 11th with John Gooday on the back of him. Lando Norris from Richie Michelle, who's moved up to 14th place. Slowly but surely he's getting there in this one. Then it is the old sim racer, Argent, Kane, Dennis Hansen, Mirko Ritchie, Gary Clarbell, Paul Williams, Monkey Boy, Playerman, Brian Craig, Stephen Beck, who's down the order, DJ Phil way down, and then it is Cranky Duckhead. In fact, Cranky Duckhead's actually got ahead of DJ Phil.
He has indeed. Meanwhile, I'm on board with John Gooday. He's looking for any opportunity to find a way through on the Ferrari driver of Shane. But more importantly, it is the car in front, Justin Winter, who's starting to put a little bit of pressure. The pit window has opened and there's a yellow flag further back. Why is that, and who is that? I believe
52, that is Argent.
That's Argent, yeah. So Argent's had a moment or contact somewhere, and he now drops to the back of the pack. At the minute, no one bailing into the pits as of yet, other than Monkey Boy.
So Monkey Boy straight in. That'll be to repair damage. I wonder if DJ Argent's in as well then. So them two both in. Shane Bembridge trying to take advantage of Justin Winter, who was attacking the back, and it looks like Winter's turned it on Shane there, and Shane onto the grass has had to flick it around, and that is not where he'd want to be. He's now got a huge weight to make, and this is a long pit stop, Dan. Just for that 1 litre of fuel, it'll cost you 36 seconds. For any other pit stop tyre change, it is 60 something seconds. I will get the graphic up to have a look, but it's 27 seconds quicker for just that 1 litre of fuel. It's 63 seconds for a long pit stop. Lucas's game keeps crashing, and Robert Smith, we've been told as well, everything was fine until 3 p.m. local time. Power started flickering, now it's staying off. So that is then obviously the effects of Hurricane Milton sort of taking effect now, and he's the other side of Florida, so that's now starting to take its effect there. So Robert, please stay safe if you're watching, and hopefully everything is well. But Monkey Boy and Argent out the pits. DJ Phil also pitted that lap. Monkey Boy doesn't look like he's repaired damage, so he's just got his pit stop done. Richie Michelle now up to 13th place. He's on the rear of John Gooday, and looking back from John Gooday then, who bails actually to the pit lane, so ignore everything I was about to say there. John Gooday's into the pit, so he does not want a piece of that from Richie Michelle. I'm surprised he hasn't actually done pitted early to clear the traffic. Car 9, that is Kane. Easy yellow flag at the final sector. Yeah,
a lot of cars are into the pit lane anyway, so if anything, that might actually help Richie Michel. If anything, car's moving out of his way. He's got a little bit of clean air now. It's all depending on how much damage is on the front end of that car. It's all well and good being quick in the first couple of laps here, but it's so much work to work your way through the sprint, and you do have to be smart. And Francesco has been really just nailed it from the start, and Mark Tucker has had a very good start as well. He's hanging in there in second, and Darren Bell's with him. Dean is now starting to reel them in with Fat Bloke and Casper. Casper has been on the move as well. The McLaren driver really working his way up the order.
Can try and play advantage while Richie's all behind him. He's had some good pace in practice as well, and this is Dean. He's just gone a little wide looking on the rear wing of the Ford Mustang. Listen to it purr as it comes down the back straight now. You're seeing that BMW just tucked underneath the rear wing at the moment. It is quite a cloudy day here at Misano. Over the first left-hand kink, that is a stop-go penalty for Paul Williams speeding in the pit lane. It's a stop-go penalty for Borough Becks as well. So the Stage 2 Motorsport drivers, both with drive-through penalties. Tank! Darren Bell is in the gravel just as we see Dean come through that final sector. Darren Bell is into the gravel trap. What a shame, just as you were saying how well he was doing in P3, and Fat Bloke's now looking up the inside. Nope, Biles to the pit lane, so he's not going to make the move on Dean.
That's a good idea there for Fat Bloke. He's going to be stuck behind. It's not the easiest track to overtake, so Fat Bloke into the pits. A little bit cautious on pit entry, but just looked to Francesco for a second. He looked a little bit wobbly going through the first sector ever so slightly, but Darren Bell, Fat Bloke and Luke Saunders all in now. But the leading car out of all the pits has been Sam, and he's got a decent gap over John Goudet. But whether or not this will be able to see where all this pans out, we will find out shortly. As Dean under some immense pressure from Justin Winter and Casper. Justin Winter's going to stand up the inside, and Dean just lets him through. Yeah, Dean just lets him through, knows he's not going to fight that one too hard. And Justin Winter goes, and now it's Casper Ollin who's side by side with him. They've got Richie Michel down right up the rear wing of that of Dean at the moment, in towards the first hairpin. Dean turns in. Here comes that then of Casper Ollin up the inside. Thank you, Mama, for the carrots. And here comes Richie Michel, who thought about maybe having a look here as well. Dean comes back at Casper up the inside, runs it a little deep. Casper manages to tuck back in, and how the three of them not made contact. And now Dennis Hansen has come to play in the party as well. Dean's managed to just gap that of Casper Ollin ever so slightly, and now we've got Richie Michel and the Team Dane trained cars as Michel, they're giving him a little flash of the lights, coming through then in towards this final sector of the lap. And Richie Michel, you just see the pace he's got as he pulls away from that of Dennis Hansen with the fastest lap and gets back onto the rear now of Casper Ollin. But you just wonder who will pull the trigger. Will one of these three surely pull it this lap to try and go for that undercut? If I was Dennis, I'd be in now. I'd get it done. And Dean goes in, so it pretty much opens the door for all these. But Dennis should have came in, I think. Yeah, I agree. Casper could have held. I think Casper could have held him up, and Dennis could have got the jump. We are now at the halfway stage. Dennis has got the fastest lap, so he's got pace in that McLaren. It's all well and good doing the 33s, but if you're not able to do it consistently, what is that pace? It's pointless. Yeah, it is pointless. Indeed, excuse me. As we're watching this of Richie Michel, he's just lost out as Dennis Hansen on the back of Michel, and now Richie Michel's allowed to catch up. Dennis catching under the brakes. Richie Michel having a look each way to Sunway to try and get past. As we'll jump back down to Fat Bloke and Sam, Team FBR boys. They was going at it last week. Good little fight between them two we saw as well. Now Richie Michel just tried to look to have that line on that of Casper Ollin. Stop go cleared for the two Stage 2 Motorsport guys, and how these three haven't made contact yet I do not know, but Dennis Hansen now has that inside line. Richie gets a bit of a better exit. This is all from the helicopter camera at the moment, and you're just seeing them overhead shots as Richie Michel now in towards the hairpin has to take that tighter line, will get the better exit than Dennis Hansen, who had to go a little bit deeper because they were side by side. And this is a huge fight at the moment, and they've got Gary Clarbell gaining in on them. He's 6.4 behind at the moment, but that gap is going to slowly start to come down the more these three fight. The more these three fight, the more and more chances that Justin Winter and Francesco could just disappear, and they have been so far. And Justin Winter was only a couple of seconds ahead of this group. Now he's 4.2. He's gone. He's checked out from this group. And you've got to say, Dan, that surely one of them this lap has to pull that trigger on then getting into the pit lane now and thinking of the undercut. Well, somebody does, and it's the front one of the three, and that is Casper Ollin who jumps in. Now that releases Richie Michel. Let's drop back down to that Fat Bloke Mark Tucker fight. That's actually not Mark Tucker's gaining on Fat Bloke. Fat Bloke's lost out a little bit. John Gooday's coming under. Mark Tucker was second. These two have
Oh,
gained.
Sam and Fablo. So the undercut seems to be pretty strong here then, Dan. John Gooday is ahead of Old Sim Racer. Mirko's down in 14th. He's got Dean on the back of him. So Dean's come out 15th place, Dan. What does that mean then for Casper Ollin and Gary Clarbel and Playerman at the moment? Also down the pack. Not really many other battles happening. Paul Williams and Borough Becks on the back of each other. Robert Smith has managed to get in the server.
Well,
so he will not score points for his first race, but he's in, and that's the most important thing.
Casper Ollin has gone green and he's now leaving the pit lane. It's a long pit lane. Sam's going into turn number 1. Sam's done him, as has Fat Bloke.
Yeah, I think Fat Bloke has as well. The question will be Mark Tucker, who was second. Has Mark Tucker done him? As off the limiter now comes Casper Ollin. Yes, he has. Old Sim Racer might have done him. What about John Gooday? No, Casper tucks in between John and that of Old Sim Racer as John has a look up the inside, but it is just a look.
The undercut is incredibly strong.
Yeah, that is huge. That is huge around this circuit. So if there's any pro drivers watching, that is interesting to note here, as Richie Michelle and Dennis Hansen are still going at it for 4th and 5th here, knowing that undercut is strong. Casper may jump these by a couple of seconds depending on the traffic he's came into. Obviously Dennis now into the pits. Maybe he's been told by his teammate undercut strong here.
Yeah, possibly so, but we'll see how it all pans out, because Dennis is in and Richie Michelle has got that pace to unleash now, but he's got front end damage. Has been sat behind Casper for too long, hurt him. Sam is now into the final few sectors now, and where is Francesco? He's not gone. He's in there a long time.
That's a long time for a 20-minute race. You're surely not changing your tyres in a 20-minute race.
Dennis Hansen's gone, but he's not gone green.
Oh, Dennis Hansen drew his pit stop. Francisco's only just away. Here comes Sam then, round to final corner. Sam is in the box seat, so is Fat Bloke. The two Team FBR cars could be sitting on a 1-2. There goes Sam for the lead. Fat Bloke goes through as well. What about this train of Mark Tucker, Old Sim Racer and Casper Ollin? They're all through, as will John Gooday and Mirko Ritchie. The leader had a 7-second lead, Dan. The undercut is incredibly powerful.
It is indeed, but Richie Michelle has stayed out. Dennis Hansen has come out. So I think Richie Michelle, if he doesn't mess it up, and Justin Winter could be leading this race after the pit stops. But he has to pit this lap.
Yeah, I don't think Justin Winter will be.
I do.
Oh, Dennis Hansen, he may miss the pit window.
He will.
That's going to drop him right down. Justin Winter in. Richie Michelle in. Sam's coming through the first hairpin.
Oh, Richie Michelle come flying in and gained so much time on Justin Winter just from knowledge of this circuit.
36 seconds in, 1 litre of fuel and out. That's if you get it perfect. That is what they're saying on this screen I am seeing here in front of me. So 36 seconds in and out with a perfect 1 litre stop of fuel. Richie Michelle's jumped Justin Winter. So what is Justin Winter doing? So has Richie Michelle just won this race?
Oh, possibly so. Yeah, Justin Winter, has he done that? Has he repaired his damage? He had slight damage to the front end of his car. Has he turned that off?
Well, Richie Michelle's pace must have been that good since having the clear air, because he's going to jump that of Sam here. On board with Richie Michelle, not yet off the limit, and neither is Justin Winter. Here comes Sam and Fat Bloke.
Dennis Hansen obviously stayed out. He's got the fastest lap to his name.
Yeah.
Is he going to try and stay ahead of Richie Michelle to keep that fastest lap?
He's not ahead of it. Oh, no, he is. He's there, actually. Didn't get in front of him, Dan.
He's going to send it, though. Hot tyres. Up the inside he goes.
Yeah, up the inside he goes. Justin Winter did get jumped, so whatever Richie Michelle did in the pits was perfection, because he's jumped Justin Winter and Sam and Fat Bloke. So Sam and Fat Bloke maybe not on flat 1-2 that they was hoping for.
Dennis Hansen went into the pits, and Dennis Hansen was behind Richie Michelle.
Yep.
So actually, they both nailed the stop. Just Dennis Hansen didn't put a litre of fuel in.
Yeah, that's the problem. So obviously it saved him a couple of seconds over Richie Michelle, but yeah, what a shame. Back down the order, and John Gooday going side by side with Mark Tucker, who's gone a little bit wide. That's going to allow Mirko Ritchie through as well here. So John Gooday through, Mirko Ritchie still side by side actually with Mark Tucker, who comes back up the inside and looks up the inside of John Gooday, and John left the door open. Tucker, though, I think collected a little bit of John Gooday and spins himself around. John Gooday then a flash of the lights, not sure what he's flashing Mirko for there. But Francisco is the huge loser out of that. And he's 11th place. He had a 7-second lead.
He did. He must have done something. He must have added fuel accidentally or changed tyres or something, because he was well out in front. And now he's dropped right into the pack.
Kane didn't get his stop done either. Excuse me, either. So he has missed the pit window, but he's down in 27th place as Lando Norris up the inside and taps the inside of Dean.
So I just watched the FBR boys go through the final corner, and simultaneously they both slid out wide at the same time.
And they've got Justin Winter gaining on them. Yellow flag on the circuit. That is the 105 of Rob Smith. But he is currently... I know Cranky's got ahead of him. Brian Craig's got ahead of him. Kieran's got ahead of him. And Darren Bell did not. So he's lost out a few places.
The FBR boys starting to become some pressure under Justin Winter. Justin Winter hunting them down bit by bit. And Richie Michelle also bringing that gap down to Dennis Hansen. But...
he doesn't need to, though, does he?
He doesn't need to pass him. No, he could just sit there behind him. But if Dennis Hansen tries to hold him up or back him up and try and slow him down, so that he can still gain some championship points and allow the FBR boys to catch up a little bit, surely he'd be focusing on just getting through this, isn't he?
You'd think so. You'd think that is the biggest key for him to do, get through this and get that one on the board. Yeah, going to be an interesting one to see what he can do. Obviously, drop scores take effect as from this week. That's the big thing that we have on week 2 of the championship here. Back onto the helicopter camera, though, you can see there Sam, Fat Bloke, Justin Winter all together. You could chuck a blanket onto them.
Mark Tucker's in the wall.
Where's
major damage to his car? 23.
So here, he's gone down the order. Oh, he has indeed got major damage on that car. Huge damage. Leader starts the final lap. Drive-through penalty. That's Fat Bloke. Oh, Fat Bloke's got a drive-through penalty for track limits. Right at the very end. He won't be able to serve that. I believe he'll just have to finish the race, and it'll be a 30-second time penalty added to the end of his race. What a shame for Fat Bloke.
Wow, the coppers have caught him speeding while trying to make his delivery. Yeah, Fat Bloke just pushing the limits a little bit too far. Very easily done around Mazzano, actually. The track limits are brutal around here, and he's taking more again as he runs wide right onto the back of Sam. But Richie Michelle looking like he's going on to take a race win, because at the minute Dennis Hansen was not able to get the pit window done. He's lost out. He's been out. He's been done. He has been done.
He has been done. If you're Fat Bloke now, you're going to start to act as that rear gunner for Sam in front, for Sam to get a podium. Got a couple of podiums, didn't he, last time out in that Aston Martin, and it was great to see. But Richie Michelle, who's never won a race at SimPlay Motorsport, I was actually found something today. I'll go on about it during the next qualifying session. Found something very interesting today on the PC. But Richie Michelle never won a race here at SimPlay Motorsport. Well, he's about to take his very first race win on his home circuit. I'm sure he's going to be delighted with the performance he's put in here.
In the Lambo!
In the Lamborghini. Indeed, as Richie Michelle then rounds the final corner. Dennis Hansen may take the win on the road, but with that time penalty for not putting a litre of fuel in, it will be Richie Michelle who takes the race win here at Mazzano. Great drive from him. We then wait for Sam, who is going to be in second place, from Fat Bloke, not in third because of the drive-through. That'll go the way of Justin Winter. Old Sim Racer will cross the line in 6th, with Casper all in 7th. Mirko Ritchie, great race, in 8th. John Gooday, a strong P9, better showing from John this week compared to Bathurst. Francisco, well, what could have been for him apart from the pit stop? Luke Saunders, who's about to put a lap on Kane. Luke Saunders, and then Gary Clarble. I'm not giving you the final positions, obviously, because of the fact we don't know until the grid order just changed. Player Man from Lando Norris, Shane Bembridge from Dean, Cranky Duckhead, then Monkey Boy, who just pips Kieran Argent to the line, Brian Craig, and then Rob Smith for 21st place, followed then by Darren Bell, DJ Phil, who's a long way away, and I'll tell you what, so's Paul Williams and Burrow-Backs had the stop goes, didn't they?
Yeah.
So DJ Phil now towards the final corner. He crosses the line ahead of Mark Tucker.
I think Matt's slowly dying now because he's struggling with the stroke by the sounds of it.
There's something there that I feel I need to cough. I've just muted to cough. It's still there. Mark Tucker, what could have been... Literally, Mark Tucker, what could have been for him, but that is probably going to be P24. Stephen Beck, 25th. And Paul Williams, 26th. Might not be, because as the timing screen changes now, or doesn't. We're still going to wait and see what happens. But we are, though, going to take a very, very short break. We'll be back in just a few moments' time. Don't go anywhere. We're clear.
That's it. Cough it up, big boy. Fucking sexy.
All right.
Like that, man. That's how you do it. Imagine if the stream was still on then.
I know. Oh, Dennis Hansen, 26th on fastest lap.
He's going to be kicking himself there.
Yeah, massively. Massively.
All we had to put was a litre in.
I know. I don't get how people forget that. Sam.
Carbo in the chat. Hold your fucking brakes, for fuck's sake. Taken out twice in that race.
Old sim racer. Old sim racer, 4th. Good result. Casper Olin P5. Mirko P6. John Gooday P7. Francisco P8. Luke Saunders P9. Gary Clarble P10.
Green light. Go, go, go.
11th for Playerman. 12th for Lando Norris. Shane 13th. Dean 14th. Fat bloke 15th. Oh, he tumbled down away and all. Cranky 16th. 17th for Monkey. Argent 18th. 19th Brian Craig.
Honestly, that was Richie Michelle's first win.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. That's
Yeah,
weird,
no, I thought he'd had a win by now, but no, I did look.
Mad.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Darren Bell, where did he fucking end up? 21st.
Near the back.
You know. John Andrews not here.
In that so-called stable Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah. Came 27th. Right, delete you, delete you. Bow wow. I'm off air a second, so you're alright. You're alright, I'm off air for another 8 minutes. Shh. Gonna run up to the toilet. Jam, bedtime now, please. Ready 15 minutes. Nice one, dude. I'll have to have a read of it tomorrow. Oh, I'm back. Fucking Mike. He's a fucking that boy.
Who?
Mike.
Why?
He's opened a ticket on Rob Smith. Oh, sorry, on Robert Smith.
Robert Smith.
Yeah. Added Rob Smith.
Why did you retire?
Realised he got the wrong one. Why is he retired? I went, Mike, I've just put in the ticket. Mike, he joined with 7 minutes to go and stayed in the pit lane, so close the ticket.
Wow, man. This is what happens when he kind of just randomly joins in, doesn't he?
He's, for the retirement ones, he's better off waiting for us on stream to just say he retired.
Mm-hmm. He hasn't got the sound on, has he?
No, exactly. Oh, live screen. Right, who's the first car out? 32, score more than... Oh, the Richie's out first. That could be huge. Right. 5, 4. Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen, to SimPlay Motorsport here for the first qualifying session of the evening. Great first race in this championship, in the night, sorry. It means that in the championship standings, it is going the way of Richie Michelle. Obviously, drop scores will take account. So these are provisional results before penalties and the drop rounds take place. Richie Michelle leads from Robert Smith with Mirko Ricci in third, with Dennis Hansen P4. Justin Winter is in fifth. Old Sim Racer P6 with Casper Oll in P7. Sam is in 8th with John Gooday 9th. Lando Norris P10. Gary Clawball from Kieran Argent. Playerman Luke Saunders. Monkey Boy Cranky Duckhead. Paul Williams from Fat Bloke. Brian Craig. Stephen Beck. DJ Phil. Darren Bell. Rob Smith. Francisco from Kane. Mark Tucker. Shane Bembridge. John Andrews. Dean Vigus. The Jackal. And yet score Romeo Yoshi. Graham Liam Fernie and Lucas. Constructors Championship looks a little like this as well. Team Richie Course are leading it by 45 points from the Team Dane Train. Forever Forward in third with Greasy Bandits P4. Team Toma P5. Team FBR P6. Roadrunner Bandits P7. Stage 2 Motorsport P8. Team Merlot P9 with McLaren Racing in 10th. Speedy Gonzalez Motorsport is 11th. Greasy Bandits Junior 12th. And the Naval Racing Team 2 are P13. Obviously, them results are provisional as Mirko Ricci lets Richie Michelle go then. For Richie Michelle to be the lead car in this qualifying session. Let's go on board with him on a lap of this Misano circuit. And while he's on that lap down, the thing I was mentioning in race 1 is I found the Season 7 spreadsheet from Project Cars 2. What I found interesting about this was, I was going through it and was looking at when we ended on Project Cars 2 at SimPlay Motorsport to when we started on ACC. Just a few differences in like the stats pages for drivers. If I scroll up here, because I did jot them down, there were 79 race drivers who had at least one race start to their name after Project Cars. We've now had 273, so we've nearly got 200 more drivers since Project Cars 2. Fantastic. There was only 58 race winners come the end of Project Cars 2, and that included GT5s, GTEs, Formula 1, Formula 2, whatever we did that period, 58 race winners. We now have, after Richie Michelle's win tonight, 117. 57 different pole sitters, 176 now. 73 different people on the podium in Project Cars 2. Now we have 176 as well. So just the difference in stats, obviously the numbers. The big one for me was you, as we'll get to you in a moment. Richie Michelle's coming up into the final corner now. Round it he goes, and down the start straight he comes now towards the line. What's he got to do with that lap time? He puts in a 1:34.3. Not the quickest. We've seen Richie Michelle go quicker, and it's going to be interesting to see what he can do as he goes on. Andy had 32 poles and had the most poles going into Season 1 of ACC. You had 27. You now have, you're now the leader on pole positions in terms of SimPlay. You now have 59. You've had more poles on ACC than you did on Project Cars 2, Formula 2, Formula 1, things like that. Yeah.
Right car, right time, I guess.
The best one was Gary has had one win. 24 wins on Project Cars and F1. One win on ACC.
He's always been on Project Cars, man, though, hasn't he?
Yes.
Dennis Hansen gets it with 4/10 of that time, but we do know Richie Michelle has got more underneath him. It's a different game, isn't it, nowadays? Yeah. This keeps updating and staying up to date. Project Cars, I still today will love Project Cars. I think it was a brilliant platform. It was brilliant for SimPlay. It built SimPlay pretty much.
Did.
So we can't really say the game is obsolete, because it's not. It is. A lot of the drivers that you still hear with us today, from DJ Phil, myself, Monkey Boy, Gary, Sutty, Fury, yourself, Matthew, and many others, Overtaker, have all come from Project Cars 2, and we've moved to Assetto Corsa Competizione, as Richie Michelle goes and does a 33.8.
Yeah, Mirko Ritchie pops it into third place as well. So he's following his teammates. As we're going to go down to 77 of Luke Saunders, he's coming to the line. A lot of calls coming to the line quick, so if we don't get everybody on screen, we do apologise. We'll try to get as many people on the screen as we can. Richie Michelle, though, tonight, Dan, especially in this qualifying session, you feel like he's in a league of his own at the moment.
Yeah, but that's although you're in a league of your own, that's even more pressure on you.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt that as well at Bathurst, when you just know you got the car hooked. You know you could be quick in it. It's then doing it on the night. Nerves get to you a little bit. You start feeling a little bit of the pressure. You start making silly little errors that you thought you'd never make. But then that kind of, everyone knows what you got. Everyone knows what you can do, and they're expecting it every time. And if you don't deliver, they'll go, well, what happened before? What was going on?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's interesting to see. The BMWs at the minute just seem to be stronger. Fat Bloke is the fastest of them all, and he's also coming to the end of his lap. But track limits is really going to be the thing here. Clarball looking quite good in his Porsche, to be fair. 2.3 off the pace. Fat Bloke towards the line now, and I think he ran wide and cut limits. But Old Sim Racer sitting in fourth at the minute. He's 2 seconds off the pace, while Dennis Hansen's got within 8/10. Just shows how fast the top three are at the minute. Mirko Ritchie now coming to the line with his teammate right behind him. He crosses the line and goes into second place. So it's a Lamborghini front row at the minute, which I'm loving to see, but the rest of Pro-Am are probably hating at the minute.
Yeah, they're probably not enjoying that. Here comes Justin Winter, 2.5 seconds off. He moves himself up the order. What about Brian Craig, who's next on a lap? He goes up the order a little bit. Luke Saunders moves up the order a little bit as well. What about John Goody? Currently 3.4 off of the pace. Manages to go up into P8 for the time being. The 181. That then is Gary Clarball, like you say, 2.3 off the pace, but up there in P7. Manages to go within 1.9 and up into P5. So good lap time there from him. Car 63. That is Old Sim Racer. Bit of traffic there from Kane coming through the final corner. That's just delayed him a little bit through there. So I don't know if he's going to be up on this lap time. As we say good evening to Sam Greaves in the chat, Mother Davis and Dean Wasaki as well. Old Sim Racer does not improve. Paul Williams is now coming towards the line. Is he going to see an improvement around here? He does, moves up to P10. Great to see Paul Williams on some pace. We questioned last week, didn't he, the McLaren from the Lamborghini. Is he going to get up to grips with it pretty quickly? But he seems to be relatively good pace at the moment as Playerman moves up the order as well.
Yeah, the McLaren's quite easy to get into a drive. A lot of the drivers who drive the McLaren say, no, it's not easy to drive. It's actually a handful, blah, blah, blah. I've driven a lot of these cars, and I've gone from front-wheel drive to front engine to mid-engine to rear engine. And if anything, I think the McLaren is probably one of the easiest cars to drive. Once you get it in a happy zone, it is stuck to the ground. The downforce is so good on that car that I deliberately tried to make it slide and it wouldn't budge, but that's me. But in Paul Williams' hands, he seems to find some pace in it. He seems to find improvement. He's having his inner Sully in at the minute with a black livery in a McLaren. He's trying to let that out at the minute. But no, he's got some decent pace. As Sam now goes across the line and goes into 5th place.
He does, and John Goody moves up into P6. So a good lap there from John Goody as well. Next car we're going to see towards the line is out of the 63. That is Old Sim Racer. Got a bit of clear road in front of him, so we'll see what he can do now that he comes towards the line as Gary Clarball then moves up into P5. Good lap there from Gary Clarball then. 1.7 off the pace. Top three separated by 8/10 of a second at the moment. Here comes Old Sim Racer. Couple of tenths to move back up the order. Doesn't find a single bit there. Paul Williams now to the line again. Dots light blue. Can't trust these dots anymore. He does not improve. The 418 is next towards the line. That is Playerman, who comes down the start straight to the line now. What is he going to do? He stays P21. Yes, he does find a bit of an improvement, though. Dennis Hansen doesn't improve. With 5 minutes left of qualifying. Time's not really altering here at this stage of the race. DJ Phil to the line now. He's a bit quicker than Kane. Off the pace of Cranky Duckhead, and no improvement there.
One driver that does seem off the pace at the minute, we did see in the Discord, is Lando Norris. Obviously a very strong outing at Bathurst Mount Panorama. But here at Misano, he said this is the first time he's actually ever driven a circuit. And most racers, actually, to be fair, this will be the one and only time they do race Misano.
Yes.
I don't think I can think of a time where Misano is actually on any other game. I really can't, unless you're playing on PC and you probably have it on iRacing
I
or
think
or
it's
R-Factor.
on a MotoGP game, but that's completely different kettle of fish, isn't it?
Yeah, so a lot of these drivers, this would be a completely weird, as the same with Valencia. There's a completely new circuit, drives completely weird because it is a bike circuit. It's designed for bikes, and strangely enough, I say it's designed for bikes. It's quite tight for a bike circuit, especially the first sector.
Yeah, when you compare this to Valencia, very tight. As Ultim Racer was on a lap, he's dropped it at the final corner. Number 180 is coming back around. When you compare this to Valencia, it is rather tight compared to that circuit, which is a bike circuit as well. So yeah, Paul Williams to the line now. Goes up into the top 10. So a good lap there from him. We're going to see the 666 of Dennis Hansen. Light blue dot, but we'll ignore that. 4 minutes left of qualifying. A few drivers sat in the pit lane. In fact, actually, Casper Olin, Robert Smith, or I believe, Rob Smith, who are on the bans tonight. Olin, Rob Smith, and that is it. So them two have now served their qualifying bans. Them two are going from the back of the pack then in that qualifying, in this next race. That's going to be tough work for Casper Olin. Got the pace tonight to be in that top 4 or 5. Qualifying ban's going to hurt him.
I forgot to mention as well the man who was so very dominant at Bathurst, Robert Smith, who's currently not just fighting the car but fighting the wind. He's only 14th at the minute. He's not got a lot of pace around here. Or is he seeing it as a practice session at the minute?
Well, I was just about to say, you don't know, with this Hurricane on the way, you don't know what kind of preparation he's had for this race. So therefore, you just don't know what he's been able to get in the bag, do you, for this race? Shane Benbridge to the line. Moves up to P16 ahead of Monkey Boy there then. Yeah, difficult one to say, isn't it, for Robert Smith? Obviously, great to see him online, but you just wonder his preparation, obviously halted due to real-life circumstances in the United States at the moment. So, yeah, very tricky one.
It is indeed, and Mirko Ricci just coming to the line does not improve. It is then Dennis Hansen next coming to the line. The two Lamborghini boys doing it proud for myself after running it for so long and not seeing it driven by anyone else. Top 2 at the minute, but can Dennis Hansen get involved?
No.
Not on this lap. He's probably got 2 more laps left in this.
Yeah, 2 pushing at the most if he's got the fuel on board. Hopefully he has. And we'll wait to see what he can do then coming through these next couple of laps. Fat bloke to the line. He stays P12. And we're next going to pick up then car number 3. In fact, who's not set a lap time? Argent hasn't got a lap time on the board yet. So he's struggling out there at the moment.
And he's just tagged Lando Norris round, so that's not going to help him even more. So, yeah, Lando Norris, just tripping over each other a little bit at the minute. I believe it's the number 8 of John Goudet, who's the next on what we were deemed as a valid lap.
Argent's done. Argent will go from last place.
All you had to do is get a banker in. You didn't have to push. You just had to get one on the board.
And sometimes that's the problem with drivers, isn't it? They don't go for that banker lap. They give it all or nothing straight away.
Yeah, and that's what gets them in trouble. That's what drops them to problems in situations like this. Argent's now got to clear the entire pack once again. He just had to just stay within track limits. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. He just kept running wide and going off and ruining his lap. All you had to do was just nail the lap. Just get one on the board.
Yeah, get one on the board, and that would have been you set for this race, at least in a good, decent position. Argent will then have to go from the back. And that is going to be hard work. Here comes Dennis Hansen, though. He will get one more lap in and doesn't improve again. The 64 is then just after him. That is Darren Bell down the order in qualifying. 3.3 seconds off the pace at the moment. He comes towards the line now. Finds one extra spot. The 117 of Robert Smith. He's got Kane just off the back of him, so let's see if Kane can find 0.4 of a second. What about Robert Smith then? Who goes up to P5. Kane did find that. He found 0.6, and Robert Smith up to P5. Good lap from Robert.
Indeed it is, and again he's just learning, keep going as he's going along, minding his own business. And yeah, it's down to this, and I think Richie Michel's lap time, I really don't think he's even going to get beaten. No. I think if anyone's going to beat that, it's probably going to be in the pro category, and that's probably going to be Michael Eckholt, because he seems to be hooked if he's still in that McLaren.
He is.
Great. But I'm looking forward to racing Michael. It would be nice, and Overtaker as well. But don't see that time being beaten here. I think he's got it in the bag.
Yeah, I think he has as well. I think it's a great qualifying lap. But Dennis Hansen is still out there on a lap, and I don't think he'd still be out there if he was on a slower one. So let's see what Dennis Hansen can do then this time around. It's going to be an interesting lap from him, that is going to be sure. Who's the other driver who was on the qualifying ban? I believe it was Rob Smith, not Robert Smith. So he will go from 27th and Argent from 28th. That is huge for Kieran Argent. What about Dennis Hansen, though? Currently P3 out there at the moment. What's he going to do as he comes towards the line now? Dennis Hansen goes P2 in this session. Mirko Ritchie's in the pit, so he will be at least started on that second row.
That's what Dennis needed. He needed to be at least alongside Richie Michelle, because if he did not get alongside him, he wasn't going to see him. He was not going to see him, and he'd disappear into the distance, and Mirko would hold the rest of the pack up. Which obviously he doesn't have to get out of the way, he doesn't have to move, he's helping his teammate, and yeah, it's just Mark Tucker now left on a lap time, and was doing really well in that first race. I'm not sure what happened. He got major damage to the front end of his car and ended up just dropping down the order.
Yeah, he did, sadly for him, and it was a disappointment as he's now gone wide, and he will start from 22nd place on the grid. But Richie Michelle then, pole sitter after that race win. Great start to his night here on his home circuit. What else can he do as he comes through this fantastic Misano track for the rest of the evening? Anybody jump out for you there in qualifying? Justin Winter P4 is a good one for him. John Gooday P8 better than last week. Yeah, I was thinking Gary as well.
Yeah, Gary Carble, Sam, and even John Gooday seemed to have got the Mercedes hooked that time round. And yeah, Old Sim Racing looking good as well. For me, the one that stood out that was a little bit of a surprise, and again, it's just Lando Norris. Obviously, again, he's not used to this circuit. He's just struggling a little bit. Argent not putting a lap time on the board. He's just going to curse himself for that one. But we'll see how Robert Smith gets on. He's obviously going to have one ear on what's going on with the weather, and one ear focusing on racing. So I'm sure everything is fine. Otherwise, he wouldn't be racing tonight. But fingers crossed for him. He can have a good race.
Yeah, hopefully the connection stays. Hopefully he doesn't have to bolt and dash off. But yeah, is that a reasonable excuse though if he retires from the race, Hurricane?
Oh no, you still lose points and you've got a qualifying ban.
Basically, Rob, even if you're spinning around in the air, keep going.
That's a tornado, not a hurricane.
Well, either way, he's going to be chucked in the air if the hurricane comes. It's great to see Robert Smith out there. Obviously, we understand that Tibbs pulled out last night. I believe certain parts of America have had to be evacuated. Other parts haven't. I believe Robert Smith is more the Daytona side of where the hurricane is hitting. So yes, he may feel a strong winds and rains and power outages and stuff, but we believe it's this side where I believe Tibbs is that's had to do all the evacuating. So hopefully it passes through tonight so Tibbs can be back on that grid tomorrow, because it's going to be a shame. But like we said before the show, hopefully everybody stays safe. Lando Norris, where did he qualify? 19th, just so I can input it on the data. And Playerman was 17th. That is everybody done. Extra point then for Richie Michelle and for the team in this one. That gives Lamborghini, one, its first pole position of the season, and two, it's 74th overall here at SimPlay Motorsport. It took its first win this season. That was its 71st win. And it took a double podium, which gives it 219 podiums as well. So,
where is Lamborghini in the ranks?
Fourth for race wins, third for pole positions, and fourth for podiums.
Right on.
Behind Mercedes, which was pretty much its Project Cars 2 days. Audi, Project Cars 2 / obviously Ripper and yourself on ACC, McLaren for obvious reasons in recent seasons, plus your season on Project Cars would have helped that as well. They're the ones that surround it. Porsche only beats the Lamborghini in the podiums one. Audi only beats it in its wins.
Oh, fair enough. I forgot about the 650S.
Yeah, the car you was in your last season.
Yeah, my last was it Project Cars Championship. So it's been a while since I drove for McLaren. Anyway,
exactly.
I hate them.
Would you, if we did a fun event of like pre-2017 cars, would you be tempted by the 650?
Lexus
Lexus band.
No, come on.
I think
can't I have the Lexus?
I think we need a Jag versus Retia night. I think that's an event we need to possibly look at doing.
Oh, shotgun the Retia. Is Andor in the way?
Yeah, why not? Hungry as well? Oh, why not? That'd be quite funny.
I swear it was somewhere else I did quite well. Budapest, wasn't it?
Hungary and Zandvoort
Yeah.
you won. And where was it you got the other podium? Yeah, somewhere else.
Laguna,
Retia doesn't turn corners yet on the two tracks with some of the most corners or trickiest corners. That means you'd have won at Bathurst. By that logic.
I mean, the Lexus understeers badly, but that Retia, Jesus Christ. I don't think it had a front end.
Hey, it doesn't matter how slow you are up and down the mountain, you'd be that gone down the straights, it'd be unbelievable. Coming up through the final couple of corners.
Actually, it's not that strong in a straight
well,
line.
not anymore, probably now, yeah.
After testing all the cars, I think it's actually just mid, if anything.
Oh, there you go. There we go. Right, coming through the final couple of corners, we head towards the line for round 4 of the season. Don't forget, if you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and the bell to be notified when we go live, as well as hitting the thumbs up button if you are new. And please check out Design Manchester and Audio Sport. Their links are in the description below if you want to check out their products and merchandise that they can provide to you, as well. If you want to get involved here, join the SimGrid and the Discord. But we are green and go for round 4 of the season. And it's already a good start from Richie Michelle. Dennis Hansen looking around the outside but can't do anything about it. It's on that second row there where Mirko Richie's trying to get past Justin Winter, because Winter's got the move done on him. That is now complete. We now look at the third row where Gary Clarbel and Sam are now going side by side with each other. John Gooday looking to get involved in this one as well. Thinks of making it 3 wide. Then backs out of it. Gary Clarbel right around the outside. He swoops. Great move from Gary there. That puts him up to third. John Gooday there, I believe, got a bit of a tap from one of the BMWs behind. That looks to be Stephen Beck. Yes, it is. As you're seeing there, that the old sim racer just running a little wide. But you're starting to see everybody already pulling out a few gaps in this race. And Gary Clarbel's managed to get up a position, but he's now under attack from Sam once again. Sam gets up the inside, coming through the hairpin. Gary Clarbel and his Porsche managed to get the run out the corner, though, and down the straight they come. Clarbel stays in front, but a great clean start here at Misano.
It has indeed, very clean. And the thing about, I just suddenly realised that Richie Michelle might be giving away now. He's leading the race, but he's also going to be showing Dennis Hansen the lines that he's been taking. So Dennis Hansen right now, he may be sitting just behind that Lamborghini just for a couple of laps, just to see where and what he's doing. And he don't want to be doing that too often, running a little bit too wide and trying to gain as much advantage as possible, because too much track limits and you'll be off. As everyone on this lap, as I say that, I was just about to say, has stayed relatively clean, and Rob Smith has gone off into the dirt. And everyone else, though, relatively clean, but Paul Williams dropped right to the back. He's got a bit of damage to the rear end of his car.
I'm also not sure what happened to Argent, because Argent is some 3 seconds off the back of the pack. His car looks like he's got a bit of damage to the front. Did he maybe clip Paul Williams and he lose control of the car himself? Dennis Hansen trying to keep Richie Michelle honest, though. Then it is Mirko Richie trying to keep Justin Winter honest. John Gooday trying to stick with that at the back of Sam. He's got Brian Craig on the back. In fact, no, he's lost out Stephen Becker's John Gooday. Apologies here. That's Monkey Boy, who's just looked like he made an error. Mark Tucker as well had a moment. Monkey Boy, though, going up the inside, the double right-hander on Lando Norris. Lando keeping the nose there for that next part. Monkey Boy gives him the room. Now it's a drag race between the McLaren and that of the Mercedes-Benz. Look out for the McLaren. Can't see it at the moment. We look to the rear wing. There he is. And Monkey Boy gets through as the McLaren's now going back up the inside, gives Monkey Boy a bit of hip and shoulder. They both lose a bit of momentum, and here comes Mark Tucker once again then, but they stay line of stern, and as they was, great bit of racing. Look at this, though, with Casper Ollin. He's got Shane and Francisco there. As Shane's looking to the outside, Casper runs a little deep. That could open the door as Shane has to get out of it in avoidance. Cranky Duckhead's a little slow through the hairpin as well, and at the moment this is a bit handbags at the back here, but Casper Ollin's coming from the back of the grid. After 2 laps he's already up to P16. As
Steve Beck has just lost the position to John Gooday, and they're in a good little scrap as old sim racers are up there as well. And John Gooday's run wide after the long back straight and heading into the final sector. Steve Beck is back up the inside and gets a job done going into the fast swooping penultimate corner. But the Ferrari now of old sim racer wants to bite at the Mercedes, and as this is all going on, Brian Craig is not far behind them either, dragging with the Monkey Boy and Lando Norris. So Lando quickly learning this circuit. And in the background I just saw was Francesco just grabbing his car. Big moment from him. But Dennis Hansen still within a second of Richie Michel. Richie Michel not running away at this stage.
No, he's not at all. An old sim racer just had the nose chopped off by John Gooday. All nice and clean, though, but that's put him into the clutches of Brian Craig, with Lando Norris outbreaking himself and Monkey Boy avoiding that one as they come through as well. They've got Mark Tucker on the back of them, so a good few battles developing here. Like you say, Darren Bell's there with that of DJ Phil, who's up to 14th from the back of the pack. It's not a bad race for DJ Phil. Casper Olin, big flash of the lights of Shane Bembridge going side by side then with the cranky duckhead down in towards the hairpin. Luke Saunders may think of a send it manoeuvre up the inside of Casper Olin. Can't get it done, but he goes up the inside of Dean. And look at this, Shane manages to go through. Casper follows Shane through up the inside of cranky duckhead. Lovely manoeuvre there. The door opens from Shane and Casper takes full advantage of walking through it. Kane as well, he's just lost out to player man, but Rob Smith and Francisco down the bottom of the pack. They've got work to do as Argent's already as well started to make his way onto the pack and up a few places.
Yes, indeed. That's the FBR boys at the minute keeping John Goudet behind at the minute as the old sim racer just has done. Meanwhile, Monkey Boy's had a big moment and pretty much cut half the track, and he'll have to try and rejoin as quick as he can. He finds the circuit and he will get back on track as soon as he possibly can. He hasn't passed the sector, so hopefully he should be fine. But Monkey Boy disqualified.
That's because it's took him off the circuit and he hasn't rejoined where he's gone off. Oh, Monkey Boy's been DQ'd from the race. What a shame for Monkey Boy there.
A big shame. Massive shame, and only 6 minutes into this race. So there's a lot of kerfuffle going on here, and DJ Phil has had a moment, I think. No, John Goudet's
had a moment. Yeah, I was just looking at his time because he was on the back of Sam, it said. And then all of a sudden DJ Phil appears. So what has happened to John Goudet there? So where's Sam? He's fine. He's still going. And old sim racer's now looking on the back of Stephen Beck. So something has happened to John Goudet. He has tumbled down the pack here. He's coming back up the inside line of DJ Phil. That is the move done there. And DJ Phil now has his teammate on the back of him. Is DJ Phil... He's back on the pad again. Yeah. He's tested all off-season with that wheel and he's just quickly given up on that. And while everybody keeps chopping and changing, you just feel it's going to hurt him. DJ Phil has let his teammate go, by the way, and then puts his brakes on right in front of Casper into the corner. So holding Casper up a little bit for his teammate there. That's good team play.
Very good team play, but probably just annoying Casper. It'd be a moment of time until he eventually finds his way through. Again, Dennis Hansen not allowing Richie Michel to disappear. I'm seeing Richie Michel take a little bit of track limits quite a few times, so you have to be a bit careful with that. Meanwhile, Justin Winter is under still some immense pressure from Mirko Ritchie and still keeping him within that range. Gary Clarkball kind of in the no man's land at the minute while he's got Sam trying to hunt him down, but old sim racer now getting past John Goudet and is on the back of Steve Beck.
Yeah, got some good paces, old sim racer at the moment. Just watching Darren Bell, he's got John Goudet, Shane Bembridge and now Casper Olin come for him right now. Cranky Duckhead's on the back of DJ Phil. We've got Fat Bloke who's dropped down the order. He's got some damage to the front of his car, actually. He's just been passed by Paul Williams and he's got Kieran Argent gaining on him as well. Playerman's into 23rd. He's tried to get on the back of Dean Vigas there then. But John Goudet trying to put pressure on his teammate Darren Bell with Shane Bembridge and that of Casper Olin coming with them. So a good little fight here, but as well, like you said, old sim racer, now that John Gooday's out the way, starting to gain slowly onto the back of Stephen Beck. Lando Norris as well, gaining on the back of Brian Craig, it looks like. And now this lap, Richie Michel has opened that gap up to 1.5 seconds. So just maybe now started to find his rhythm.
Yeah, possibly so. But again, like I keep saying, he can't be complacent. He can't be making any mistakes. He has to try and... He has to keep extending the gap, but not pushing the limits. He's just got to take it out a bit by bit, not pressurize himself, because he knows Dennis Hansen won't let him just disappear. He's right there just in case any mistake does come his way.
Indeed, he is. Down the order once again to Darren Bell, who drifts and slides through the corner. And John Gooday's actually lost out to Shane. So John, who was on the back of his teammate has now just gone off the same place Monkey Boy did. Monkey Boy got back going, ended up DQ. Darren Bell hasn't. But Shane Bembridge has cleared John Goudet. So whatever's happened to John Goudet, this Mercedes is just taking a turn for the worst, it looks like.
Yeah, it has a little bit. It seems a little bit loose, a little bit messy at the minute at this stage of the race, but Shane at the minute under some pressure from John Goudet, and Casper is right behind them, and Casper just waiting for anything to happen between these two so he can try and pick up the pieces, but he can't sit there for too long. He needs to clear him. And Shane's gone around.
Yeah, Shane has gone around. And then that's allowed Casper to gain 2 places as well. DJ Phil was being overtaken by Luke Saunders. He's now under pressure from Paul Williams. He's got Fat Bloke now looking up the inside of him as Paul Williams. That's a move that's done. Argent's going to send one up the inside. How he's got that stopped, I do not know. On the apex, that is a great move from Kieran Argent. Literally lit the stamp and sent it. And DJ Phil really is the trolly train. In fact, he's pulled out the way to let drivers through.
No, he dropped it.
Did he?
Dropped it. The rear end just went light, and he just dropped the rear end.
Oh, up the inside, so late on the brakes, manages to stop the car into the corner. Fat Bloke struggling with a bit of damage on the front, and here comes Kieran Argent. You could throw a blanket over these lot. Kieran's now going up the inside of DJ Phil, and that'll be another place for him. DJ Phil just tumbling backwards here. Robert Smith. Did we lose?
Just say you could throw a blanket on them.
Yeah. You never heard that expression?
Never heard that. Never heard that.
There we go.
Robert Smith, we lost.
I think we lost Robert Smith from this race. He's back in this one at the moment, so that is a connection problem there for Robert Smith, sadly. But Kieran Argent throwing DJ Phil. DJ Phil's not let this one go, though.
No, he's not. DJ Phil's just trying to hang in there ever so much as he possibly can, but again, it's going to be a matter of time rather than if. So we'll see how he gets on. Meanwhile, Richie Michelle has now found his groove and is 2.1 ahead of Dennis Hansen, Justin Winter, and Mirko. Richie's dropped behind Clarball, so Mirko has made a mistake somewhere and has dropped behind the Porsche, and Sam has really caught onto the back of Clarball as well. So we've got a three-way fight here: Porsche versus Lamborghini versus BMW.
Great to see as well, isn't it? 3 manufacturers all fighting for that final top 4 position, and you've got a Ferrari and a McLaren in that as well. But the Ferrari and the McLaren are a bit further up the road. Richie Michelle now's gap was 2.5 seconds. He's extending. Oh, I say that. Dennis Hansen brings it down a little bit, but Richie Michelle really on a good bit of form at this stage of the race. Don't forget as well, next week brings the Kyle Army, the night race, to the championship, and that's going to be an absolutely firecracker as well. We believe the races will be taking place on the Friday night and the Saturday night, so that is going to be an interesting stage of a race, because the track could be pretty green as we start it. Sam just had a look there on Mirko. Richie couldn't get through though. Going to drop back down to that DJ Phil fight, who's been passed by Paul Williams now as he's gone very wide. Dean is now on the back of DJ Phil as well. Dean's Ford Mustang surely should pull alongside, if not in front. DJ Phil coming round this back straight. Here comes Dean. Dean's through. What about Playerman? Was teamed with DJ Phil last season. Is he going to be able to find a way past his former teammate this time around? Not at the moment.
We've got a full three-way fight between BMW drivers. We've got Luke Saunders, Fat Bloke and Argent. Trying to find out which one of these is the top dog of BMW drivers, but at the minute Luke Saunders just keeping ahead of Fat Bloke and Argent, but at any point he could make a mistake, and Fat Bloke
Francisco's
is really looking racy.
Just noticed Francisco is into the pit lane, not sure why.
A lot of damage.
So probably damage, and he's gone a lap down. Obviously Robert Smith, that disconnection, he'll hopefully be back in this race momentarily as Luke Saunders has been passed by Fat Bloke. Now here comes Kieran Argent to try and have a look on the back of him. Now switches that inside. Is he going to think of sending it into the next corner of turn 4? No, and Luke Saunders losing out there to Fat Bloke then, who's got damage on the front end of the car. Down into 17th place he goes, back towards the front. Sam still trying to stick with Mirko. Richie as Gary Clarball's actually started to gap Mirko a little bit. Steve Beck and Sim Racer are still together. That's brilliant. And Lando Norris having a look at the back of the McLaren of Brian Craig here. This is on the dashboard of Lando Norris, looking forward to Brian Craig. You just see there coming through the back straight. Will he try and have another look at him before the final corner?
Lando Norris really starting to get into the groove of this circuit, and I say that, and the rear end's gone. He's going to go spinning round, and he's just got to make sure he doesn't do what Monkey Boy did, which he returns back to circuit.
I think he tapped the back of Brian Craig there.
Yeah, it was so slight. Probably ACC physics, as we like to call it.
Yeah, just dropped the front of the car. Robert Smith's come back out onto the track. He will score points at the end of this. That is the bonus for him. Obviously, it will be his drop score round more than likely, based off last week. He took 2 race wins. Shane's dropped down to 25th after his moment, Dan. So he is well down the order, and Rob Smith has had a spin. So round he goes. Playerman now looking up the inside of DJ Phil, but still can't get past.
can't find a way through at the minute, and they're just fighting out for the last few places. And yeah, it's just a little bit spread out. Mirko Ritchie is now starting to catch onto at the back of Clarball again, but not. Oh, Clarball has a big moment in the Porsche. Very easy to drop the rear on that car. Luke Saunders is attacking. He's dropped down the order, actually. Luke Saunders. He's dropped right down the order. He's dropped behind Dean.
Yeah,
so not sure what happened to him.
Well, there he is, just as I'm finishing watching the player man. DJ Phil fired. DJ Phil hits into the side of player man, and player man has a bit of a wiggle. But yeah, I'm not sure what happened to Luke Saunders. Just looking at his car now, looks okay. So has he just had a moment on his own somewhere, because he's now just in front of that fight between DJ Phil and player man?
Who knows? But these two have been going at it quite hard, to be fair. DJ Phil and player man. I've moved now back to the Mirko Ritchie and Clarball fight, because that looked like it was a 10th, and obviously that's a little bit bigger now, that gap. But again, Dennis Hansen just keeping Ritchie in shot at the minute. 2.1. That stayed there relatively for a while now, so we'll see how long Dennis can just stick with this pace.
Yeah, just going to try and see as Clarball's lost the rear. Off at turn 3, sorry, and he loses back out to that of Mirko Ritchie, and to Salmon is falling into the clutches a little bit of Stephen Beck and Old Sim Racer. So what a shame for Gary Clarball. Lando Norris back on the rear of Mark Tucker once again. It was Brian Craig who was on the rear earlier. He's actually pretty close. Is he going to look for a move into turn 4? Tries to, but Tucker closes that door. Casper Olin just behind with Darren Bell. John Gooday's not recovered from his earlier moment when he was running with good pace, and it is Cranky Duckhead from Fat Bloke. Argett's up to 17th ahead of Paul Williams. Then it is Luke Saunders. In fact, who is that in front of Argent? That might be his teammate Rob Smith. Dean Vigas P19, Luke Saunders P20. Player man in 21st with DJ Phil 22nd. That one is now done. Kane 23rd. Shane 24th. Rob Smith 25th. Francisco still in the pitch and Robert Smith. Francisco still in the pits and Robert Smith 27th. And last at the moment, obviously, with that disconnection. Steve Beck, though. In fact, it's Old Sim Racer, sorry, on the back of Gary Clarball now.
It is indeed, and the Ferrari looking a little bit strong here. And I think Gary Clarball's having typical Porsche problems. Very good traction that car has, but it can also go very, very loose randomly. And up the inside goes the Ferrari of Old Sim Racer. Good job there. And Steve Beck is going to go with him as well. Around the outside of penultimate corner, that's a move. And job done there for Steve Beck. He now makes a position on Clarball, and Clarball drops down the order. Rear tyres possibly overheated and overpressured. And Brian Craig just in the background hanging it sideways as well.
Yeah, Brian Craig hanging it sideways. His teammate on the defensive from Lando Norris as they come down the start straight themselves towards turn 1. They come. Lando still as close to Tucker as he has been to Brian Craig for most of the evening. But like Dan said in that qualifying session, new to this circuit, never driven it before, and he's learning every lap, isn't he? And that's the key for Lando Norris tonight, is to learn this every lap. And by the end of the night, you know, he might feel pretty comfortable.
Yeah, I think as well. He needs to just clear Mark Tucker so he can actually see the circuit. He's been stuck behind the back of that McLaren for a long, long time now, and he's probably getting sick and tired of looking at the back of that thing. He drives the McLaren himself. He knows what it looks like from the rear. Yeah,
he does indeed. They've got Casper Olin not a million miles away from them. Then John Gooday's managed to get past Darren Bell, who's actually fallen into Fat Bloke and Cranky Duckhead's hands at this stage of the race. Kieran Argent has had a mistake somewhere because he's dropped down to 22nd, and he's on the back of Shane Benbridge, who's managed to get past DJ Phil. In fact, Rob Smith has also got past DJ Phil, so Phil's had another excursion somewhere. And Shane looking racy on the back of Argent. Argent struggled here all week, and here comes Shane as Francisco still into the pit lane, by the way. So that could possibly be a retirement here in this race. And Shane not close enough to attack the back of Argent at the moment. Cranky Duckhead, though, within 2 tenths of Fat Bloke.
He is indeed. And Justin Winter kind of in near enough no man's land at the minute. We've got the top two, Richie Michelle and Dennis Hansen, just gone. And that's just a testament to their pace at the minute. 2.4 is the gap between them. And then it's 14 seconds back to Justin Winter. That's just showing how fast the boys at the front are running around here. And let's not forget as well, that's pro pace they're probably running right there. And we'll see how the rest of the season goes for them. But very strong from these two around this circuit. Others just seem to be struggling.
Yeah, they do seem to be struggling. Cranky's lost out a bit to Fat Bloke. Lando Norris was within a tenth of Mark Tucker. He's now
Steve Beck's
past
attacking.
Mark Tucker. Let's go to Steve Beck then. He's side by side with old Sim Racer coming into the hairpin. Steve Beck up the inside he goes. Manages to get it done. Sim Racer kept a tighter line. It's not really worked out for him, I think, as he wanted it to, and that allowed Gary Clarble briefly to catch up. But Sim Racer now still there. Can he come back at Steve Beck? That's going to be the biggest question. Brian Craig nearly on this trio as well.
Yeah, he's not a million miles away, but he's been kind of sat there for a while now. He hasn't really been able to just creep onto the back of him while they've been racing hard. Lando in the background really hanging it sideways as Casper Olin really, again, starting to get into his groove, starting to find positions, and he's now on the back of Mark Tucker and trying to find a way through as they go through the fast section of the track, and Casper running very wide. Mark Tucker having to slow down, and they're both having a moment.
They are, and Casper gave him a flash of the lights there. Not sure if contact was made. I don't think it was, but Casper gave him a little tap. They both ran very, very wide. We are 20 minutes into this race. The pit window will open in just under 5 minutes now, but so far so good. If you are Mark Tucker, doing a great job of keeping Casper Olin behind you. Just looking at some of the other fights on the circuit as well. Argent has now caught up to Kane, as opposed to Shane Bembridge being on the back of him. Luke Saunders has dropped down to 25th as well, so he's had another moment. In fact, he's nearly going to be lapped by Richie Michel already 20 minutes into this race.
Yeah, not sure what happened there. He had just a couple of spins, you know what it's like when you get into a spin. Sometimes you just struggle to get back on track and just spinning ages for a while. But at the minute, right now, actually, Dennis Hansen's starting to bring the gap back down. It was 2 seconds. Fat Bloke's done it again. Drive through for track limits.
Yeah, Fat Bloke once again. That's 2 races in a row. He's got a drive-through penalty, both with inside 20 minutes as well. So clearly struggling with the 20-minute races is Fat Bloke at the moment. He's got another 40 minutes to go to not get another one. Here comes Gary Clarble then with Brian Craig right up his rear end. And this is going to be interesting at the moment then. In fact, Gary Clarble's gone wide, and that's going to make it very easy for Brian Craig. And, well, he's not going to need a second invitation to get up the inside and take that place. Gary just struggling at this phase of the race. I just wonder if it's something with that car. He had that spin. Like you say, did he just overdo his tyres? Maybe flat spot them a little bit. Is he waiting for that pit window to open? There is a yellow flag. Not sure why. It is the 77 and the 666. That's Dennis Hansen.
That is Dennis Hansen, and that is also Luke Saunders is the 77.
Yeah, but he was further up the track, I noticed.
I'll figure out exactly what happened.
Yeah, you do that. Luke Saunders got massive front-end damage. Bonnet's lifted, and we saw Dennis Hansen had front-end damage as well. Robert Smith is now past that of Francisco. I am not sure what has happened here, but what that has done for Dennis Hansen is it's put Justin Winter, who was in no man's land, right onto the back of him. Home race for Richie Michel, and he's doing great. Indeed, he is, Tommaso. Great to see somebody new in the chat. He's doing absolutely fantastic. On for a double win. And the pole, and the fastest lap. Didn't get the fastest lap in race 1, so it's not the clean sweep for him. But if I know, Justin Winter has got past Dennis Hansen. Mirko Ritchie's not far away. Old Sim Racer still on the back of Steve Beck. He wants that place back.
He does indeed, and I'm on board with Luke Saunders, and he just drops it all on his own. He just makes his own mistake out of the middle sector. Regarding Dennis Hansen, I'm on board with him now. Into the first sector he goes. Turn 4 as normal. I lit up the rear.
There you go then. So he's dropped it on his own.
Bounces on the grass and ends up just going skating across left. Couldn't get any grip on the grass and ended up just spinning for ages on the grass.
So he's ended up having a moment on his own, and that is a shame. And now he's down in 3rd place. He's 8 tenths off the back of Justin Winter, yes, but he's in 3rd place in this race when it was P2 for him. And I suppose really 3rd place is great compared to what happened in race 1 for himself. This is Steve Beck and Old Sim Racer. Fat Bloke's in for his drive-through penalty. Pit window opens probably at the end of this lap for a couple of drivers, as Richie Michel's already on that back straight. He is flying in this one now and can probably put it in cruise control just a little bit. Shane's back on the rear of Argent. That's 7 tenths of a second. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens, because Well, these two's had a bit of a torrid night. I found out what happened with Shane last week and why he wasn't able to race Bathurst in the GT3s. One of his pins on his steering wheel had came out into its base and wasn't connecting.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. Managed to get it sorted, though, and he's back with us this week.
Ideal. And Fat Bloke has cleared his drive-through. How many other drivers? The question is on the limit of drive-throughs, because it's very, like I said, very easy to just run a little bit wide in places. Dennis Hansen, meanwhile, is showing why this circuit is great for bikes, but showing why it's very, very tricky to get past cars. It's really difficult. You really need that performance edge.
Yeah, it is indeed. It's going to be a very difficult one for him to... yeah. It's hard, isn't it? Because this track is, like you say, it's a bike track. It's not a normal circuit. So for this one, it's just that little... It's like Bathurst, isn't it? You kind of have to treat this one a little bit different to what you're going to treat, you know, Kyle Army next week, Laguna Seca the week after, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? And that's where I think the challenge is.
Yeah, definitely so. And you know not to. You know not to run wide. You know not to make the mistakes, but you still end up doing it. You still end up just going a little bit wide, trying to take a little bit more time as the pit window now opens, and we'll see who decides to bail for the pits as soon as possible. The other thing as well that we haven't talked about, we talked about it at Mount Panorama, but we haven't talked about it, is strategy.
Yeah,
and
this is the biggest key. You were saying in the week that you had a bit of graining on your tyres, tyre change, possibly more of an option this week. It's a 27-second difference in 1 litre and go to changing your tyres 30 seconds. That's provided in both pit stops you absolutely nail where your pit box is. So let's say 27 seconds at a minimum, as Dennis Hansen pulls the trigger as well. That 27 seconds is a big gap. We saw it last week with yourself and Overtaker. Overtaker did close up towards the end, but it wasn't enough. Is here a little different? Is here a little warmer? That, seeing as it's an evening race, we know it's not going to get hotter, unlike Bathurst. Again, next week, another discussion with the temperature. But the nature of this track, it's an unknown for us as commentators, as well as a driver, because we don't follow bikes and watch bikes, and they're not the same as a car. You just don't know on how bad the tyre situation is around this circuit, do you? And it's not until you get in that seat and find out how bad it is. 27 seconds is a lot of time to lose. I think certain drivers... Richie Michelle could probably risk the tyre change for that fresh rubber. If I'm Justin Winter, knowing now that Hansen's just undercut me, knowing how strong we see in the undercut in race 1, I don't know.
I'm just currently doing a bit of a research into some drivers and try and find out a little bit of strategy of what people are doing. I know Argent has got not a lot of fuel on board. He's got about 23 litres, so Argent looking to possibly add fuel, and he's looking like he's changing tyres as well. So a tyre change for Argent looking like it's coming his way.
See, that to me in 17th doesn't make sense.
Fat Bloke has made his stop already, and he's currently he stayed on the same tyres.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to figure out if he's added fuel. No, he hasn't. So he's just literally stopped.
Done his 1 litre and gone. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting for Fat Bloke there. That's clearly. Did he even repair the damage? No, he didn't. No, he didn't. So Fat Bloke literally in and out. That is Mirko Ricci, I believe, in front of him, who has just put a lap on him. Yes, it is. So at this stage of the race, Richie Michelle cruising from Justin Winter. Mirko Ricci's just a little bit further behind, not too much in that though. Sam's not far off the back of Mirko Ricci, and it's Stephen Beck, Casper Olin from Mark Tuckroos into the pit lane. Then it is Paul Williams, Dean Vigas from Player Man with Dennis Hansen, leader of the pit runners, just came out just ahead of Kieran Argent in that P12. Argent's obviously won, not going to fight that too hard. He knows it's not his fight. And yeah. And Monkey Boy, Mizano, horrible circuit. I don't like it either. But yeah, shame that you got that DQ to your name, buddy.
He's just not very good at it.
I think he needs more time testing. Yeah. He'd have done better if he didn't join Greasy Bandits. Nah, I'm only joking.
Who?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but at the minute, a lot of drivers that I've been watching, obviously Dennis Hansen, I have found his stream. He's been in and out and on his way. I don't think he added fuel or do anything by the list of things. Yeah, it's kind of gone a little bit stale here. The fight at the minute that's closest at the minute is probably Lando and Old Sim Racer, and Old Sim Racer right on the rear wing. John Goudet and Brian Craig are close, but at the minute your closest fight is probably Old Sim Racer and Lando Norris at the minute.
Yeah, I was just watching that John Goudet, Brian Craig one play out, and that was an interesting one. See Old Sim Racer here, then let's say on the back of Lando Norris, and he's had good pace tonight, hasn't he, Old Sim Racer, for one of the new boys. Obviously races the GT4s as well. So he's had a pretty good night of racing as Old Sim Racer. He did not bad in the GT4s last night. He's done well here tonight. And the thing is as well, a lot of new drivers have come into Pro-Am this season. It's going to take time for them to learn how other people race. And I tell you what, Old Sim Racer seems to be gelling pretty quickly.
Yeah, he does, and again, we'd talk about possibly it might suit this circuit. He might like this track. He might just be in the flow around here. Lando Norris, obviously, clearly didn't know this circuit. He's pretty much been learning since the night started. So both of these two seem to be a point where they're near the front of the grid. Dennis Hansen's probably the leading pitter at the minute, and they're in second and third of that. So. All in all, I think they've done relatively well and are slowly working their way up the order.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Lando Norris P13, Dean Vigas has pitted, so them two should gain an extra place in this. In fact, Lando Norris jumped Old Sim Racer in the pits. Old Sim Racer actually had a long pit stop because he was fighting Steve Beck, and Lando Norris was behind him and Brian. It was behind Brian Craig. It was behind Old Sim Racer. So interesting to see where Stephen Beck's going to come out. Obviously, the undercut, so powerful here, we saw already tonight. John Goudet still got Brian Craig within half a second. Not a lot happening between them two either at this moment. But Paul Williams is in the pits and out the pits. Dean Vigas is leaving the pits. Rob Smith is in the pits. Kane is also into the pits lane. Robert Smith yet to pit. And we have lost out of Francisco, so that is a retirement to his name. What is his first race of the season? Old Sim Race, though, trying to get on that back of Lando Norris and just maybe create an opportunity from somewhere to make that move. As three more into the pit, Sam, Steve Beck and Casper all in all pits. Sam's already done. So that is a heck of a stop from Sam in P3.
It is indeed. But, oh, God, oh, I'm dropping things. Classic. So Sam in the pits, Steve Beck into the pits, Casper Ollins in the pits. So Dennis Hansen will carry on through. Mirko Ritchie stayed ahead of Lando Norris, but Lando wasn't actually a million miles away from him. So again, undercut seems to be working quite a lot.
It does. It does. Yeah, going to be an interesting one because where is Steve Beck? In fact, Steve Beck is... Old Sim Racer's made a mistake somewhere, Dan. He was on the back of Steve Beck. Beck's done his pit stop. He's going to come out behind Olin. Yeah, Old Sim Race has made a mistake somewhere, or has had a really long pit stop. Did he change tyres, and maybe that's why he's 27 seconds down compared to the others?
Possibly so. We now got Richie Michelle, who's now into pit lane, so he's now making his stop.
Sam's jumped Dennis Hansen. Dennis Hansen's done the undercut, but Sam's jumped him by a decent margin as well, 5 seconds. So yeah, that's an interesting gap now as Old Sim Race is looking for a move on Lando Norris through the left-hand kink. They come once again. And can't go up the inside there, although he's trying to now. Actually gets a better run halfway down the straight. The Ferrari's speed in that straight line comes into play, and up the inside he goes at the hairpin. That is a lovely move as Richie Michelle takes the lead, takes to the pit lane, and Justin Winter takes the lead of this race. Everybody bar Argent and Winter have pitted. Will Argent pit this lap, though? That's going to be the question. He's got probably one more lap he can do. Or it might be tight for him, actually, from there. So Argent might be better pitting now.
He would be, yes.
Drive-through penalty. Dean Vigas, track limits. So that's the third drive-through tonight as Argent does come into the pits. Third drive-through tonight. But a second driver, Fat Bloke, got the double penalty tonight. Dean Vigas has got that drive-through penalty And that is really going to ruin his race too, because P20, not a bad place, obviously still learning that Mustang. And now he's got to drive through the pit lane.
He does indeed, and a long pit lane at that. I mean, it's not actually that long, it's just the limiter's on for a long time, and Justin Winter finally pits. Richie Michelle returns back on track, and Sam way out of his range at the minute, 13.2. Actually, if anything, Richie Michelle, I know obviously that a lot of that is probably Richie Michelle's probably added fuel, and I think Sam's gone full fuel and just came in, stopped, and gone. Yeah,
I think so as well. Just gone onto the graphic. I have 28 seconds is the time lost for a drive-through penalty. Kieran Argent, who's had a long stop, he's filled up with fuel. Possibly, you said he was changing tyres also. Well, he's going to come out possibly even just behind Shane Bembridge here, who's coming down the start straight, didn't repair his damage. So, look, he's on fresh tyres, he's got half a tank of fuel. I don't think that's worked out for Argent the way Argent's going to want it to have work out for him.
No, I don't think either. It's just not gone well for him this evening. Hopefully better things at Kyle Army next week. In the night race as well, a lot of people seem to act differently at night. Things you tend to make more mistakes at night as well, so who knows, temperatures will be lower. So we'll just have to see how that pans out.
Took a look at the weather earlier, by the way. 40 degrees midday for Kyle Army. The drop off to the night race is so dramatic. It goes from 40 degrees to 18. It's so dramatic, the drop off. Normally, dropping into the 20s maybe, but such the drop off is. Also for Kieran, lost out to DJ Phil and just got lapped by Mirko Ritchie. So yeah, not the way he'd have wanted it to go, and nearly ends up in the back of DJ Phil, trying to follow Ritchie through, but was too far back. Yeah, he's flashing the lights at DJ Phil there. Well, I don't know, Kieran. I think he was a bit far back there to do anything about that. He's going to have a look at DJ Phil now, coming through the left-hander. DJ Phil keeps to his line, and Argent all over the curve, and still stays behind DJ Phil for the time being, and can't find his way through. That's a tricky part of the track to overtake on, isn't it, through them kinks on the back straight?
Yeah, even with a straight line advantage, it's still you got to trust the car that you're racing will give you racing room, and that you both can actually make the next corner. So it is very tricky to overtake that. You're better off just trying to catch the other car out, get a good exit out of a corner, especially this final corner, and then just try and send it into turn one. And DJ Phil defending the inside, Argent looking to the outside now, and this will give him the inside for turn two, and he gets really close to DJ Phil. I guess that job done. Argent has now made the position, and DJ Phil runs wide. Yeah. And DJ Phil losing out there as Rob Smith is now starting to catch him.
I genuinely think that if DJ Phil had stayed on the wheel, he probably could have kept that around the outside, bit smoother on the steering input. It was easily done last night. Saw a few drivers do it in the GT4s last night. Just stay around the outside of 2 to have that inside for 3. And it was an interesting way to go. Mark Tucker's behind Paul Williams. He's dropped down 17th after the round of pit stops. John Gooday, pit stops worked out for him. So whatever strategy he used, he's back up to 13th place. Gary Clauble down to 11th. That Porsche's just died in this race. And Cranky Duckhead, I tell you what, shout out to the Honda driver. It's a good performance.
Yeah, very good performance for him. He's up into 10th place position, slowly working his way through the order. And again, some drivers might have gone for the Robert Smith tactic and just fuel the car up and just go as long as you can. Yes, you see the guys at the front like Richie Michelle and Dennis Hansen disappearing into distance with their pace, but they've had to put the fuel time in, and now it's starting to affect them.
The thing is with it as well, isn't it, is 27 seconds difference. If that car's not getting 27 seconds over you, you're going to gain X amount of time, aren't you? If that car gains 5 seconds, you're gaining 22 seconds on that car when it does the short fuel, the fuel and tyre change possibly. So, that's where the strategy comes into play this season, and that's the risk that drivers are going to take, isn't it? Full fuel to short fuel, maybe that change of tyres, yes or no. That's the strategy they're going to take. Will it pay off for drivers? Let's wait and see. We know Kieran's changed tyres. So where's Kieran at the moment? He's P20. He's 8 seconds off the back of Shane, who's got damage. Not sure on what he's done strategy-wise. So let's wait and see. Also, let's see what the difference in the pace is. We've got Mark Tucker close to Paul Williams. We've got Gary Clauble gaining on the back of Cranky Duckhead.
Dennis Hansen is really...
Dennis Hansen with Sam.
He's really hustling the back of Sam at the minute, like pretty much pushing Sam. He's got so much pace at the minute. Even with the front end damage to that car, he's pushing him at the minute. And Richie Michel's lost a little bit of time to Sam. It was 17 seconds. It's now down to 16.5. So maybe Richie Michel's starting to just ease the car home, bring the points in, knowing that he's got a win to his name, a double win coming his way as they try and clear Kane as best they can. And the next car to lap is Rob Smith, but. You see there, Dennis Hansen get a better exit out of the hairpin than he's underneath, but he has a slight twitch there.
Yeah, it's done. Sam just dropped 2 wheels onto the gravel on the outside, exit to the corner, and that allowed Dennis Hansen to just get a bit more better traction. Even with that little slide, he managed to get away out the corner. Sam's coming back at him, though, through these left-handers, not close enough to make that lunge. Hats off to Sam tonight. 2 great strategy calls. The undercut in race 1, or whatever strategy he's pulled in this second race, has got him onto the podium at this stage of it. Great strategy call from the team, great strategy call from him.
Definitely so. And he'll just be looking to possibly just cement that position. His next next person to hunt him down is Steve Beck, but he's got his hands full with Justin Winter breathing down his neck. The Ferrari driver, whenever I see Justin's car, it's always hanging loose.
Yeah.
Like any car he seems to drive
Porsche last
really
year.
On the...
I think me and you said the same thing last season in the Porsche, Dan. I think we said the same.
He seems to like a car with a lot of front end, having the car right on the nose.
Yeah.
And he seems to be able to control it, but it looks like at any point it's going to go. And he's going to send up the inside of Steve Beck into turn 4. And he does get that job done. Can Steve Beck try and get a better exit, a better run through this sector, and then try and pass him down the straight? That is the question. And down the straight they come. No, the Ferrari's done. It's got good traction and pulled away.
Going to be hard with that damage on the car as well. Brian Craig on the back of... No, he's not. He's in front of Gary Clarball now. So Brian Craig's gained another place. He's also trying to look on the back of Cranky Duckhead at this stage of the race. It's probably now the closest fight on circuit, Cranky Duckhead and that of Brian Craig. As we look on board from the rear of the Honda. And... really interesting to see these different strategies play out. I think this is what we didn't have last year, wasn't it? Because people knew whatever they did, they could half fuel, full fuel, whether they're adding 1 litre or a full tank of fuel. They was waiting for 25 seconds, wasn't they? And I think this now brings a different element to this season.
Yeah, definitely so. And I think the thing is this has turned into a championship where it's all about sprint, pit, sprint. And now it's turned into, right, you're going to have to use your brain. And you saw last time out in Robert Smith's case where he was very slow at the start of the race. He had Justin Winter and Richie Michel really giving him pressure at Bathurst, but he kept his head clear. Justin Winter disappeared in the lead, but he then came back because he didn't have to stop for as long, and the strategy worked. Meanwhile, you then had in the pro category where myself and Overtaker did the exact same thing of what happened the night before. I did Robert Smith's tactic, and you could just see as well, you had Skunky really putting the pressure on myself throughout most of the race, and just as the pit stop started to unfold, I then made the 15-second gap that I had, and you could see Overtaker with the fresh tyres and obviously the fuel on board was catching me quickly. But as you know, Matthew, it's one thing to catch, it's another to overtake. In this case, Sam has, I think he's gone the full fuel option.
Yeah, I think he has as well. What was the gap between you and Overtaker at the end? As Cranky actually just goes a little wide, turns into the corner and clips Brian Craig, who'd already gone up the inside. And Gary Clarball will take 2 places. John Gooday might even be in for 2 places here due to the slow Honda out of turn 6. John Gooday is going to go up the inside of that Honda at the hairpin. And I think that was all on Cranky there. Brian Craig was already on the apex of the corner. Cranky just turned in and met Brian Craig in the middle, but that puts the end to that battle. Down to Dean Vigas, who's on the back of Rob Smith. But what was the gap you and Overtaker last week? Do you remember? At the end?
I think it was like 8 seconds, I think, by the end or something like that.
And that's the
but
tricky
he had traffic.
Thing. Yeah, massively. But, you know, every track we come to, there's going to be traffic to play a part of it. And I think that's a tricky thing, you know. From what I look at this graphic, 27 seconds is the difference between 1 litre and a tyre change. So you came out with 18 seconds in the lead. That means he had a 9-second gap over you as he pitted. Finishes 8 seconds behind you. That's where you've got to play it. You know, you've got to get out in front. You've got to do that job. Overtaker's good enough to do that job as well. Let's not forget, he's quick enough to put a good enough gap between the pair of you. He's then going to get that gap back. With the traffic, everything becomes a little harder. His tyres start to go. Your tyres start to go. Traffic's in the way. It's very difficult. DJ Phil's been overtaken by Rob Smith, and now Dean goes round the outside of DJ Phil as well.
But also in that situation as well, that was the first time I've ever ran the Lexus that long on one set of tyres and with full fuel. Yeah. It's the first time I've really given it a long run like that. And you just don't know what the car's going to do. Yes, I had a few moments, and again, Bathurst is probably the worst circuit for it because you have the walls getting closer and closer, as I said in a commentary the week before. Here, it's a little bit more forgiving. The only thing that you do have to worry about here is track limits.
Yeah.
So, it's... you've got to be able to do a relatively decent lap time with full fuel on board.
Yeah.
So let's take, for example, I've had a quick cheeky look at what Skunky's doing. He's in the 33s race pace. But yes, it's being able to do that, but is that with 20 to 40 litres worth of fuel?
Yeah.
You know, can you do at least a 35 or a 34 with 100 litres on board? You know,
yeah.
If you can make that deficit just by, you know, even if you jump a few cars right at the beginning and be a little bit aggressive just to save time in the pits and holding people up enough, it will then calculate better and you'll be on the same fuel load. The tyres is where the issue is going to be, especially on this circuit.
Yeah, I think you spot on there. It's going to be interesting to see what people run tomorrow night. John Gooday trying to get on the back of Gary Clawell. Then we're into that final 14 minutes. And Shane's in the pits. I don't know if he returned to pits or if he drove into the pit lane. I'm not quite sure. I didn't see any yellow flags, so didn't note anything there. And in fact, has he gone? That is... Yes, he has. So that is a disconnection. He has got that three-quarter distance, so will score points. That would be a disconnection to his name and potentially a qualifying ban in this one. Now, whether that'll be 25th or 24th, I believe Rob Smith should be able to get it. We'll put him down as 25th, seeing as he has left the lobby then. That note to be 26th, apologies. So he will score points, but quality ban potentially to his name. That's going to be the interesting one to see what the stewards decide or what happens based on that next time out at Kyle Army, in which you can join myself and Dan live for next Wednesday, 8 PM GMT +1. We'll be changing soon because of the clock's going back here in the United Kingdom. Obviously, join Dan Davis live next Tuesday from 8 PM GMT +1 as well for the third round of the GT4s. Big conversation to be had in the GT4s. Looks like could be scrapping the full reverse grid. Talks of a top 10 reverse for Q1 and having 3 qualifying sessions throughout the night, which kind of then we'd have to look at how many laps the qualifying would be. Would it be a 10-minute qualifying session like the Pros and Pro-Ams, or would it be a 5-minute like the other two in GT4? They'll be discussed over the weekend, and obviously Dan will fill you up to date on Tuesday night with the situation there. Myself and Phil Radin will be back live tomorrow night from 8 PM GMT +1, as well as Gary Clawell at the minute still trying to stay ahead of John Gooday. Dean has passed Rob Smith, I'm noting, on the timing screens as well. Justin Winter is 2 seconds ahead now of Stephen Beck, and this really the closest fight on circuit at the moment.
It is indeed. John Gooday is starting to give Clawell a little bit of a headache at the minute. As he said, the Cranky Duckhead has run wide and Brian Craig up the inside and gets that job done, so that's easily done. But we move to John Gooday and Clawell again, and John Gooday seems to have a little bit more pace than the Porsche driver at the minute, and Clawell as John Gooday has a slide on his own now.
I was on board him in that shot there, Dan, and he geared down mid-hairpin, and the minute he started to apply throttle, immediately geared back up. I don't think he needed that extra gear down. And it was a while after he'd geared down eventually into the corner. I think he went down too many gears there, and as he put the foot down, just started to hit the limit a little bit and mess that one up slightly. Yeah, we'll wait and see what happens then. But John Gooday trying to hunt down after Gary Clawell here. Mirko Ritchie's now on the back of Stephen Beck, so that's within a couple of tenths. He's flashed his lights to Dean to get out the way. But Stephen Beck driving with a damaged front end, if you remember. And who's that? That's Rob Smith. Rob Smith's got DJ Phil with him as well. Is that for position? It is indeed. So DJ Phil on the back of Rob Smith for position as well. The old Ferrari versus the newer Ferrari. We'll see what they can do there. But yeah, Mirko Ritchie starting to head down after Stephen Beck now as Dean goes wide to allow Steve Beck through. And Mirko Ritchie can't quite follow through at the moment, but Mirko's coming on Steve here.
He is indeed, but he's got that Mustang right in the way on the racing line as well. But Dean trying to hold it tight on the inside, but actually that's hindered Mirko more than anything, and has left himself vulnerable now to Rob Smith to attack him. So him trying to get out of the way of Mirko, he should have just ran wide instead of holding it tight on the inside. And now he's just under pressure from the Ferrari driver.
Yeah, he is indeed. Manages to hold it strong, though. That Mustang should be pretty quick through here, and indeed it is. But that's allowed Steve Beck. Oh, there's tag leader!
Oh!
Luke Saunders in all sorts of strife. I believe Rob Smith clipped him. Oh, don't do that, Luke.
He's facing the wrong
way. Don't do that, Luke.
He's got away with it.
Nope.
There we go.
Nope.
Yep,
cut too much of the circuit. That is his night done. 3/4 distance. That is going to be a 25th place for him in this race. Shame as well, because he had a 9th place in race once. That is a real shame for Luke Saunders. No real gaps now out there on the circuit. Sorry, Casper Olin and Old Tim Racer and Sam tonight are two drivers that I've got to decide for driver of the day, because I think they've both had cracking nights. I think I'm going the way of Richie Michelle for what has been a great home night. But honourable mentions to Sam and to Old Sim Racer here.
Yeah, they're both very. I'm probably going to sway it more to Old Sim Racer. I think he's been very good tonight. I think we came into this knowing that this is possibly his home race, or is his home race. You're always going to think that he was going to be strongest, and with the pace straight away, you can't really be too surprised. But I do think that Old Sim Racer though has been really good, and as has Casper Olin. He started pretty much at the back of the pack here, and he's up to 7th now.
Yeah, he's driving well.
Sam's been brilliant on strategy. Dennis trying to take the fight to Richie Michelle and not being able to towards the end. But for me, it's looking like either Sam or probably Old Sim Racer. If I have to tie them, I will. But I do think that for me, I'm going to sway Old Sim Racer. He had a bad Bathurst, not quite the way he wanted it to go. But here at Mazzano, he seems a lot better, a lot more comfortable.
Yeah, really does, really does. What was it? Oh, not a bad. Yes, look at this. 5th place and a 13th place at Bathurst, so not too bad. Yellow flag, that's the 105. Who is the 105? That is Rob Smith. He's off again. Possible damage to his car. Then back with John Gooday as he's trying to get past out of Gary Clauble once again here. That Porsche. Yeah, I'm not sure what's happened to it because it looked really strong in the opening stages of this race.
Yeah, it looked solid, and I think that's the problem with the Porsche, because it has so much grip on the rear tyres, and it just burns them up relatively quickly. A lot of sliding, so he's probably just lost all forms of grip.
Yeah, probably has. John Gooday is right on the back of him here. And just can't find a way through, although he's tucked it up the inside on the curb. Oh, gets better traction. And you're right there, Dan. Look, you've just seen with John Gooday. Such better traction over Gary Clauble there. And pulls away already. So, yeah, great job. Mark Tucker now on the back of Fat Bloke for a position as well.
Yeah, as they all are just coming to the end of this race, and it's now starting to get to the point where the drivers are starting to feel the pain of staring at a screen for an hour, well, more than an hour. They're now getting, obviously, pains in their feet, arms as well. I'm starting to get sim racers' feet. Sooner or later they'll be webbed as well, being cautionable. Yeah, they're all starting to feel that fatigue at the minute. Steve Beck now has still got to keep his concentration up because he's got Mirko Ritchie right behind him again.
He has got Mirko Ritchie right behind him. We've just watched Fat Bloke go wide as he got... Tucker go wide as he got past Fat Bloke. So Fat Bloke come back in front as well. But Mirko Ricci, like you say, is back on the rear of Stephen Beck. There he is on the helicopter camera. So interesting now to see what Mirko Ricci can do on board with the Lamborghini driver as it purrs down the first straight. Uses a lot of curb under braking and then to turn in. So interesting line that. And just stays a little tighter than Steve Beck up front as well.
And like I said, that Lamborghini will be trying to use its traction as best it possibly can. It does slide a bit sometimes on the exit, but these two seem to have it hooked.
Sorry, we have just received a message. Rob Smith has lost power again. He was hoping to make it 3/4 race for points. I mean, he got booted before. He's at 5 minutes now. That is going down as a P24 in my book. It's going to be his drop score for missing race 1, but, you know, he's took to the race. P24. Argent's in the pits. He's driving down pit lane.
Oh, okay.
Has he misjudged his fuel?
Let me find out for you.
Thanking you.
If I can find his stream. He is on his way back out again.
Yeah, I think that's fuel. I think he's misjudged his fuel.
Yeah, massively. What's it? We got 5 minutes left. He only had 2 laps worth of fuel left.
So his strategy, because he's misjudged fuel now, absolutely kaput. Because DJ Phil's got past him. Here comes Mirko Ricci. We'll get back to that one in a moment. Going up the inside. Then, no, backs out that one. DJ Phil's got past him. Rob Smith hasn't. So, all right, he's lost 2 places because of Dean. Yeah, that's his messed his race up tonight as Kieran Argent. Not the strategy to be.
He started with 62 litres at this race. And when he went on into the pit window, that pit window opened and he was at 26 litres. And I'm just trying to figure out how much he added.
Tips in the chat says, don't give driver of the day to old sim race, so we'll only rip him into bits in the group chat, he says. So there we go.
Driver of the day is old sim racer.
Yeah, I think I'm going to change my mind now as well. Well done, old sim racer. Congratulations, clean sweep from us here. And also in the chat, drive through penalty, Justin Winter. Oh, when he was looking so good for a podium, possibly. He's gaining on Sam. And he's got himself a drive through penalty.
Not good. Not good at all. Arjun, when he came into the pits, he had 13 litres. 13 litres, and he added 18 to 32 at the 26.5-minute mark. So nowhere near enough fuel. That's not even. Yeah, that's only like 90 litres, I think.
Brian Craig's just got past Gary Clauble. Gary Clauble's just had a moment as he was trying to tuck down after John Gooday and Lando Norris, who's now having a fight. Yeah, nowhere near enough fuel, and well, he's paid the price, hasn't he? He's lost out massively to DJ Phil. John Gooday giving him a flash of the lights there. I like that tactic, like it a lot. I don't flash people as much anymore. I don't know if you noticed last night.
No comment.
Kept the flashes. Gary was flashing. Oh, he's a nightmare. Yeah.
It's annoying, isn't it?
I wonder where he learned that trait from.
It's annoying. Incredibly annoying.
Incredibly, little bit. Lando Norris here. He's got John Gooday right up his rear end. Now John Gooday is going to go to that outside line. Going to go and try and go the long way around is John Gooday. He's gone a little deep on entry. Tucks back in. Didn't really do anything for him. I liked what he was trying to do there, though. Just trying something different.
Mirko Ricci's had another moment.
Oh, he has. He's behind old sim racer by a long way.
Well, he was ahead of Steve Beck.
Yeah, he was.
Drive through is still for Justin Winter.
Yeah, he's got to do it at the end of this lap. Mirko Ricci maybe just pushing a little bit too hard, possibly.
Yeah, most likely. A little bit too hard than he needed to. And Sam, by the way, Justin Winter pushing so hard, he caught Sam in the end, and all that hard work that he's done, gone.
Yeah. Waste of time. Waste of time.
And again, it's probably a setup time. You know, the rear end of that car is very loose. and he's hanging it sideways, and possibly that's what's, you know, every correction he has to make pushes him wide, and over the curb he goes.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, and it's so easily done around this track, Dan, isn't it?
Oh, definitely, and you want to explore every single curb that you can, and he's just pushed it one too many times.
We've got Brian Craig here joining on the back of John Gooday and Lando Norris then. Where is your race leader? He'll be taking, in fact, he's just started one lap, so he might get one more in after this.
He might do if he's smart, he'll do a Will Friedman and just slow
down.
it off. He's got a massive gap to Dennis Hansen, so I don't see why not, you know. You might as well. You got a whole sector, and it was by a couple of seconds that he crossed the line. So Lando Norris going defensive in the hairpin, while John Gooday is trying to go around the outside of him, but he can't find a way through there. And John Gooday just trying to make Lando think of which way he's going.
Just tapped him there. Justin Winters in the pits. And John just gave him a little love tap there, and now he's flashing the lights once again.
I think Justin Winter, once his drive-through's done, it's going to be close. No, it won't be with Old Sim Racer should have him. He should stay ahead of Mirko Ricci, I think.
Yeah, let's see where he comes out exactly. You'll wait for that P to disappear from his name. That'll be the telltale sign as to when he comes out off of his pit limiter. Now Mirko's gone through. Casper Ollin's gone through. So yeah, them two are through. Lando Norris nowhere near. But them two are through.
Justin Winter, there is Justin Winter. He's right on the back of Casper. So
Richie Michelle, sorry Dan, he's going to win the race here. He takes the second race win of the evening with that fastest lap to his name as well. So he must have slowed down a bit this lap. Great drive from him though. Dennis Hansen is going to come across the line for P2. Better second race than the first. That is for sure. But a long way behind Richie Michelle. Richie Michelle, great race tonight.
Consistently in the 35s by the looks of things. That's the pace he was running. Dennis Hansen 35s as well, but in the 36s more. So yeah, he's easily a second off the pace just in there. And Sam now coming into the final corner. Get your votes in on driver of the day. That's currently up at the minute. And again, 36s, 37s from them. So just easily had the pace. Sam crossed the line in third as Steve Beck is going to hang in there for a P4 position ahead of Old Sim Racer, and Justin Winter trying to gain on them. Meanwhile, cars that have finished: Cranky Duckhead 13th, Fat Bloke 14th, Mark Tucker 15th, Paul Williams 16th, Player Man 17th, 18th, Darren Bell, and Dean in 19th. But in the final corner, Old Sim Racer comes home for 5th. 6th is going to go the way of Mirko Ricci. Casper just hangs in there ahead of Justin Winter. Lando Norris still trying to hold on to this final top 10 position. John Gooday trying to get him just at the end, and he might do so. It's a drag to the line. Lando Norris hangs in there for P9. Then it goes away to John Gooday, Brian Craig, and Gary Clarble runs off the grid there.
Yeah, he does indeed. Apologies. Where was Mark Tucker and all that? He was 15th. I'm just going to go through the order very quickly out of sync. DJ Phil was 20th. This is to input the spreadsheet for our data and tables. Paul Williams 16th. Fat Bloke came across the line, P14 in the end. Rob Smith Ferrari was 22nd. Kieran Argent 21st. Terrible night for Kieran Argent in terms of strategy. Darren Bell 18th place. Didn't really see much of him in race 2. Dean Vigas P19 in that one. No Jackal tonight, obviously due to the Hurricane Cranky Duckhead 13th. Not a bad night for the Honda. Good race for him. Clawball, whose car died, he was P12. Kane down the order in P23, and then Playerman was 17th across line. But it's the night for Richie Michelle. Dan, let's jump into the Discord call where we can chat with the other competitors. So we will be just a couple of seconds quiet while we get that one sorted out.
Green light. Give it all you can.
How'd you fuck up the fuel that badly?